That's probably part of the reason why they got a Mule, because they wouldn't send Harrisburg. Okay. What up, Scott? What up, team?
Hey, what's going on? Good morning, good morning.
How's everybody feeling?
Doing all right.
Are you coming to Ohio, Miguel, or what?
I don't think I'm going to Ohio. I got way too much stuff going on.
Ohio.
It's what is it, a Subject 2 conference or a creative finance conference?
Yeah, it's like a creative finance meetup where all the high creative finance guys meet up and do their stuff. I mean, there's other people that do it, but these guys are like local high players, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like they're not like celebrities. I don't know if that makes sense or not. They're not like celebrities, basically.
Not celebrities, so they're not so big, but
these guys are great. But the thing is that these are the people that the celebrities learn from.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah. So they're not really cool. You know, the other guys they make the YouTube videos and stuff like that, and they get cool from learning this stuff.
I mean, a lot of the guys, there's a lot of very wealthy people out there. You would have no idea that they have experience or knowledge or expertise, or that they're even like a millionaire, because they don't act like it, they don't look like it, they're not on the radar, they're not on social media, none of it.
Yep.
I'll give you an example of that. There used to be like this little dive bar down the street from me, and I was there one day with a friend, and you sit up around the bar, you get chatting with people, and there was two old guys across from the bar. We just got talking about what we do for work. So when I asked him, he goes, Verizon, T-Mobile, Metro, PCS, all them? He goes, yeah, I own all the towers in South Jersey. They rent them from me.
Damn.
I'm like, and he's in this little seedy hole-in-the-wall bar. He gives me his business card. He's like, here you go. I'm like, what? So I told this story to my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law knows this area better than me. He was like, oh yeah. He's like, all these guys have shore houses and big yachts down at the shore, and they stop off at this little seedy bar because they don't want to be bothered on the way. Because it's on the main road, it's on 70, going towards like LBI and Seaside Heights and Little Egg Harbor.
That is awesome.
I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? ShopRite bought it, closed it down, never did anything with it though.
Oh, what, his business?
The
bar.
This little CD bar was right outside of the ShopRite we have.
Mm-hmm.
And that ShopRite's always packed. My thought was, okay, they're buying it, they'll probably at least knock it down and expand the parking. No, it's still there.
Yeah, it's probably a nice store for them.
They never expanded the parking. I'm like, you gotta at least do that, because the parking's like crap there. It's always packed, you can never find the spot. So I don't know why they bought it if they weren't going to do anything with the land. It's just sitting there as an abandoned building.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So.
Hey Miguel, you streaming it?
Am I streaming? No, I'm not streaming.
Not yet?
I thought you were streaming.
No. So, inside of Zoom, right? There is I am streaming, but I wanted you to stream too. You said you were going to figure out that button, how to press it and go. He was like, I'm not remember that much. Remember that?
I don't remember that. That's fine. I'll figure it out. We'll stream partway through. Doesn't matter. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and start with our introductions. Thank you all for being on time. Appreciate that. Welcome to Cash and Coffee. My name is Miguel. I've been in real estate for the last 7 years. Principal owner at Haven Property Group, best value in property management in Philadelphia, in my opinion. Former wholesaler, so I can speak to that. Always looking to add value to the lives of the other investors around me, both professionally and personally. Anything I can do to help, just let me know. And yeah, that's me. Scott, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'm Scott. I work in the note side of the real estate industry. We buy and sell real estate notes, non-performings and performings nationwide. We do offer referrals. If you guys know anyone who seller financed a property, or anyone listening to this on the stream, if you know anyone who seller financed a property in the past 3 years or so, give me their information or give them mine at some point. We can share that. And I do pay a $1,000 to $3,000 referral if we close the deal. So that's something to look out for. Definitely, we're always looking to buy new deals. I'm looking currently right now at raising private capital to build out my own private portfolio. I do most of my work as a broker agent for a capital fund. I also work as a consultant for real estate investors to help them buy deals with creative structures. There are many structures going on right now, but I typically see the same 3 over the internet. There are far more than that. So if you have a deal you're having trouble with, you could book a quick 15-minute call, or we can extend it out later and we can consult and figure out how to get the deal to work.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Randy, you're up.
Hello, my name is Randy Justice. Real estate investor. I work for the Navy, and I'm just here to learn and provide any information that I possibly can.
Cool. Perfect. Short and sweet. Jerome?
Hi, my name is Jerome Lewis. I specialize in digital marketing within the real estate industry. I am also a real estate investor. My background is primarily wholesale, and I am here to learn and contribute.
Awesome. And Carlos, close us out.
All right. Hello. My name is Carlos Otero. I'm a real estate investor inside the Philadelphia and Delaware County areas. Specialize in doing creative structured deals and helping the homeowner or investor get the most for their property, because the cash price is never a good price, is never the best price. So that's it.
Awesome. The cash price is never the best price. That's actually a very good point. Cash comes at a premium.
Yeah.
Cool. So what topics do you guys want to talk about? I submitted a few in the chat. If you guys want to discuss those, but as always, we're open to anything.
Yeah, which ones did you put in the chat?
I put in the business model of someone pitched this to me as virtual real estate, which is I don't know if it's an appropriate way to describe it, but essentially you're creating a website for a trade. So let's say a plumber or an electrician or appliance repair. And the website routes leads and you sell those leads to a vendor, right? So let's say I create a really nice website, I optimize SEO for it, and it generates 500 leads a week. And I go to some vendor and I say, hey, I'll give you these leads. You have to pay me $1 per lead, or you have to pay me 10% of what you make when you actually go out and do the service or whatever. And so the website belongs to you. That vendor gets all of the work, but if that vendor ever calls you and says, hey, I don't want to pay you for this anymore, then you say, that's fine. And you find another vendor and you route the leads to that person, and you kind of deal with them. So the idea behind it is you have, the reason that this person referred to it as virtual real estate is because they wanted me to buy their course and they knew that I was a real estate guy. But the
keywords.
Yeah, absolutely. And it got me in the room. But the idea behind it is that it's like a piece of real estate in that you own it and you can then rent it out to somebody else and somebody else gets the utility of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the thing that appealed to me about it was I have tons of vendors. I have electricians, plumbers, whatever. And I know that they're always constantly looking for work. So for me, let's say Albert, right? He doesn't have any sort of online presence at all. So someone like him, if I were to bring him leads, not only would he pay me for these leads, but I'm sure that would come into play next time I need a job done. Maybe at the very least in the back of his mind, he's gonna be like, hey, Miguel brought me $20,000 for the business last year. Now he needs a renovation done. I'm not gonna say no.
This sounds like it's more like you're locking down internet space to basically run leads to sell to vendors. Yeah, doing their lead gen. They're outsourcing it through you.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I have purchased from websites like this in the past. I realize that now. Specifically, two appliance repair companies. One was called National Appliance Repair or something. And essentially what this website did is they ranked high on Google, and then they would pick vendors in different areas, and then they would route the leads to those vendors, and those vendors would do the work. The reason I realized that was because their mailing address was a PO box in Texas. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then the other one I actually never purchased from, but I contacted them and they were just shitty in their execution. But it was I think it was an electrician company, or an appliance repair company, but their name was literally just Point Breeze Electric or something. And I reached out to them like 2 or 3 times because they needed something repaired. And they told me that they would call me back, and they never did. And then I reported them on Google, and then I reported their Google Maps, and then they got deleted. So I was bitter.
Oh my God.
I needed some work done. And
well, we know this is the guy that rips down bandit signs.
This is the guy that ripped down.
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
absolutely. I haven't done that in a while. My car broke down, guys. So
dang.
Oh no.
yeah, West Philly is safe from my bandit sign ripping for the time being.
That's funny.
But yeah, so anyway.
So why are they calling it digital real estate? Is that like the course or something, or what is that?
I don't know if that's the course. I didn't let the guy get that far, but essentially the reason that he called it that was because it's similar to a buy and hold property in the sense that you build it, you have it, you own it, and you rent it to somebody else, and they pay you reoccurring cash flow on it.
Gotcha. So it's a cash flow. It's a business.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
I know that a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it doesn't sound like a rental though, because you're just selling leads. You're not like charging a subscription or anything like that. I think it would be more like a rental if you charge a subscription, like a monthly, and then you got access to whatever leads I send you.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to sexy-tize it though, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's,
Yeah.
He was trying to get me to buy something. Yeah.
Digital real estate.
Digital real estate.
Well, that's what they do with wholesaling, right? Like flip houses without having to swing a hammer.
That's true. They do. Yeah. They
Yeah.
say flip contracts and shit. And I'm like, it's not the same thing at all.
Mm-mm.
But you know, it's a pitch. It got my attention enough for him to be able to talk to me about it, which allowed me to talk to you guys about it.
I have a question. I have a question. When was the moment that you learned, okay, this is that, like you know that, okay, there's nothing I don't know as far as like what people are talking about on the commercials?
Well, like when was the moment that I learned? Like when did I develop a bullshit detector? Is basically
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How many
I don't know,
courses
man.
did you buy?
I've only ever purchased 2 courses.
Okay.
Yeah. Not including like my actual like real estate licensing course. I don't know. I guess when someone else implies that you are interviewing for something or that you're applying for something and then tries to sell you, like when they try to pitch you, you know, like I have no issue when someone comes up to me and says, hey Miguel, I have an opportunity, I want to talk to you about it. Like 9 times out of 10 I'll hear that person out, you know. But when I feel like I'm being sold and it wasn't presented as me being sold, right? That's when I know what you're talking.
Are you talking about where they're like, we need to get some information to make sure you're a good fit?
Yeah, exactly.
We want to work with you.
Some shit like that. And I'm like, nah, dude, you want my money.
Right. If I threw you $10,000, you'd be like, yes, thank you.
And, yeah, if I paid you $10,000 to leave, you would be happy to take it and you would leave. Like, it's silly. I think that's why.
We're talking about like the countdowns and stuff that they put on there too.
Yes,
it still works. Like the scarcity pressure, we only have 3 seats left. I'm like, it's a digital product, man.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nobody's gonna be in the Zoom call besides me. You're gonna pretend that it's live, but it's not. It's pre-recorded.
Right.
I mean, like I said, it helps. It does help because it does help. So it's just one of those things where I remember at one point learning, like I learned enough, and I was like, you know what? Like I said, I got a mentor and everything, but the whole thing was that I was like, well, everything I seen after that, I'm like, what is there something new again? Why does there keep being new things? Like, how is there new things that I don't know about? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, this is what they're talking about, but they just gave it a new name.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same shit. It's always the same shit. It's been the same shit for 150 years.
Right. So once you know, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's funny is when I started going back, because I was looking up stuff on marketing. I mean, I always go through Jerome to do marketing stuff, but I still just want to have a background idea of like what's being done, what's effective, what's not. I don't necessarily know exactly what to do specifically at like the step-by-step level, but they have a lot of examples from like back in the 1970s. I'm like, they were doing the same shit then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
There's a guy, I think his name is Mr. Real Estate. Let me see if his website is up. Or maybe Mr. Rental Property. I don't remember. But basically I stumbled upon his website like 2 years ago. And it was the exact same site that you would see in like like fucking 1997.
Yeah.
Like it was old.
Old school.
You know?
Old
Yeah.
school.
And I remember looking at it and thinking, like, this guy really should repackage his information if he's going to try to sell it to a modern audience. And then I was like, I should repackage his information and sell it to
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
That's the issue. It's the information is not modern and fresh. And to be honest, like that's the issue with real estate. Like we got a lot of these like great instructors and great people, and real estate is kind of behind. We're kind of a little bit behind. Like real estate investing, we don't have the right tools, the right technology, the right marketing to kind of get this stuff out there. Because it's like we're saying, there's no new information out there. However, like in my experience, I know there are a lot of like older people in the industry that just don't know what to do, how to get their message out. So like that's what the problem is. Like we had a guy at one of the one of the groups that I was helping manage. We had this guy come in, he did his pitch, and he had an excellent product. And then he whipped out the product, and he was like, "You're gonna get this CD." And he didn't even say CD.
Ooh.
He said
Ooh.
CD-ROM. I'm like, whoever called it CD-ROM? Like this is, I'm already
Back
turned
in
off.
like 95.
Right, like CD-ROM, we don't even call it that. So it makes the information in the product look old and outdated, and people are like, no, I'm not interested in that thing. Like it's a CD. Like I don't even have a CD. I don't even have it on my thing. Like, right. I don't even have
we don't have
that
the drive
anymore.
anymore.
It's either got to be a digital stream or a download.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
You mean
And then
now
he was
I gotta
like, well, you're going to
invest
get
in
the audios. Like, no, I don't want the audios either. Like, it should at the very least be a video. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's trying to email. Well, you know what we did for you today? We're going to mail you the USB. I don't want that either.
Right.
Just send me the stream. Like, send me the
Just send
links,
me the
whatever it
stream.
is.
USB.
You know, the real value there is that one-on-one mentorship. If you can
Exactly.
get that, if you can get that, that is you might as well just pay for that.
Yes.
Because you're going to...
You don't need the information. The information is like, it's okay to get the information, but the real thing that you kind of pay for, and like I told you this before, Carlos, it's like you pay for that mentorship, and you also get access to that person's like network and stuff like that. That
Yes,
stuff is worth
that's
paying
huge.
for.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
no new information out there. You just kind of need some guidance, some coaching to walk you through some stuff. But the information, like the education, yeah, get the education, but it's nothing new out there, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I tell people all the time. Like, if they want to like start learning about investing in real estate, like you have two options. Like, go pick up 3 books about whatever investment strategy you want to do, wholesaling, whatever, buy and hold, whatever. Pick up 3 books about it and read it. Read the book cover to cover. All right, cool. Like now know more than 90% of the real estate agents out there. You now know more than 90% of the investors out there, and that's all it took. And the really interesting thing about it is, like 90% of what's in those books is repeated across all 3 books. It's not new information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, buying a discount.
Yeah.
Make sure it earns cash flow.
There's a course that I brought up a couple of times, and I bring it up on my presentation, so I can't recommend it enough because it's only $100. You get way more value than you could ever imagine. It explains every area of real estate. Like, and a lot of the creative ideas that I learned came from that book, like 90% of them. And they're confusing, but if you stick with them and read through it, like he shows you some crazy ways to get like land for free. Even when you get land, you can have it cleared and make money when you get it cleared. You actually have people pay you to clear it.
That's cool.
Like I was reading through, I was like, really? The whole time I'm reading, I'm like, no way, you can do that. Like, and the confusing stuff I had to go back over and over. But when it clicked, I was like, oh, because I wasn't able to follow how the money was going, where you would make the profit. When the math finally made sense, I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
wow.
Miguel, the crazy thing about this, Mr. Landlord, we were about to have this guy come to one of our events, and we went to the site and we were like, oh no, this is like, and he's got great information. Like if you hear anybody talk about this guy, like his input, like what he does, it's amazing information. However, it's like when you see the product, like when you visit the site, it's just a turn off. Like they gotta update these sites gotta be updated. Like, and they don't, they got rich, they did whatever they do, so that's not necessarily their priority. But you should probably pay somebody to put it on a modern platform or somewhere where it kind of makes sense. So this Mr. Landlord, this has come up before, and we're like, oh no, that's not even gonna work. And even some of the older people are like, no, I would never buy that. It looks like a scam. It looks like they're gonna steal my credit card information, or like all of that. That like this is back in Yahoo type web designs.
It does look fake. It does look fake.
That's funny.
And that's the thing, is that it's funny because they have the best information. I love speaking with the older folks,
the
man.
old people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
the good stuff, man. Everything is good. I'm like, wow. But I can't. It's just you never get that far because their website looks like it's from like a scam page or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why you got to visit them. Like one time, me and Carlos were about to attend some other event, and we're like, all right, let's sign up. And this guy's like, mail the check. What do you mean mail the check? I don't even know how to write a check. Mail the check.
I don't think anyone does of this generation.
Right.
That's funny.
Like I do, but
We're all
on now.
contactless payment now. Come on.
I have written probably 5 or 6 checks in my entire life. The first time I wrote a check, I was in high school, and I went up to one of my teachers and I was like, "Can you show me how to write a check?"
Yeah, you can actually do it from your bank. I didn't know that you could do that. You can send a cashier's check.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I didn't know
A lot of
that.
them are
Yeah.
doing that
I just
now.
learned something new.
Yeah.
My association that I live in, they still require you to pay the dues by check.
That's wild.
They don't have any online payment. Like I can pay I only have to pay sewage for the township, and they have online. Like, come on, guys, get up with the time.
Yeah,
So that's talking about business models. That's actually something that I've been looking into as well, because I do property management for like homeowners and stuff. So I've been looking into doing PM for HOAs.
Okay.
And I found out in Philly there's only like 3 or 4 companies to do it, and 2 of them are terrible. One of them is okay, but 2 of them are like really shitty.
So property management for homeowners associations.
Yeah, for HOAs. Yep,
Do we have a lot of HOAs in Philadelphia?
we do actually.
Okay,
Every condo
'cause-
building that you see has an HOA, even if it's just like 2 or 3 units.
right. That's what I was thinking about, and because I'm not super versed in the HOA and the condo space, and like we had me, Scott, Carlos, we had a recent deal, and we were going over that deal,
Mhm.
and there was an HOA involved, and I'm like, I don't know, like it's killed the deal.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that lady probably need a property manager. It's now that I think about it, like whatever. I mean, it's gonna cut more into their profits or whatever, but it's worth it. But she was trying to sell us on this deal, and HOA fees, they range from yearly to monthly and stuff like that. And I was looking on the site, I was like, okay, this could work because the HOA is $300 a year or whatever. But when we really got into the research, it was $300 a month. And I'm like, oh, wait
Yes.
a minute, like that makes things. And then the fact that I was thinking about like Airbnb play, but they don't even let you Airbnb.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that was out the door.
I have Jerome, Craig, connect with me on after this. And maybe I'm being a little bit preemptive, but you just reminded me. I ran into my neighbor at Blair Street yesterday, my next door neighbor, and he spent the last 5 years in Colombia, and now he's moving to Alaska. Weird guy, but he was telling me about how his house is currently completely vacant, and he was trying to find a tenant. But I think he would be a really good, because he's older. He's like probably in his late 60s. He would be a good candidate for Cipher too. Maybe just give him the cash and let him bounce, because he's not trying to be out in Philly anymore.
Yeah, I'd be open to that. How's your deal?
So they have until Monday to move forward. If not, then they lose the deposit. They're in the expiration period, whatever.
Okay.
I'm honestly good either way. Like if they buy it, all right, cool. If not, then I'm going to put on an Airbnb, and then next year we're gonna rip off the facade and do another partial renovation.
Yeah,
But,
I think you should keep it. Honestly, I wouldn't sell it. I would find a way to keep it. I was hoping you would give it to me, but not give it to me, but hoping you would work out a deal. But I don't think you should sell that thing.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
think those in that area, I think those houses is like Philly is not going to be New York exactly, but it's going to be like an overflow. And there was actually my broker, like she had bought a house I don't know how many years ago or whatever, but in Fishtown, Fishtown used to be Fishtown. Her house is worth $1 million now, and that's only going to just keep going up in that area. Like how the hell is a house in Fishtown worth? They're not worth $1 million, like honestly, but people pay $1 million for those houses.
Yeah, the one around the corner for me was the first house to sell for over $900,000.
Yeah, it's no way I would let my house go, because it's gonna do nothing but overflow into that area.
That's the thing, though. It's not so much a business transaction, it's because my sister's dealing through a bunch of like, personal shit.
Oh my god, that's
I know but at the end of the day, like I'm like, all right, if I let it go, I get a check. It's not bad, So
how much does she need money? How much does she need?
It's not, dude. That's the thing. It's not that she needs money. Like girl makes like 6 figures. Like she's good, right? It's her brain. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Like mentally, like she needs to disconnect from all of the other stuff that she's dealing with, because that's just where she's at emotionally, I guess.
Okay.
And it doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm like, I'm not gonna stand in the way of your chaos. I'm gonna let your chaos be yours, and I'm just gonna take the check and leave.
Okay.
But yeah, what was I saying?
The number. I think you were about to go to the number or something like
the
that.
number? Oh, no, just the guys. Let me know about that guy, because I've been in his house. It's exactly the same as mine.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. Anybody that wants to sell, I would like to buy. So,
cool.
Especially in Fishtown, I think those houses, I think they're just going to keep going up. I wouldn't pay that much like cash what people are doing, but I think it's a smart investment.
Mm.
I'm gonna send him a text right now.
Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, man. Deals live. Let's go.
So, I mean, I don't know if we talked about this subject exactly, but one thing that I was I've been interested in is, because I don't pay too much attention to what's going on out there in the news. I be too focused on whatever I got to focus on. But the moratorium has been extended or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it got extended to October 3rd, October 10th.
You keep kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, they're kicking that can down the road, and I know it's not, people, oh my God, Jerome, you're a monster, but there's just more opportunity. Like, people are going to have more problems, and that opens it up for us to help solve those problems and become wealthy in the process.
The really interesting thing about the moratorium is that that's the biggest threat to real estate prices right now.
Yes.
Both on the asset side and on the rental side, right?
How so?
Okay, so at Tier we have 278 units. Of those 278, I'd say about 10 have fallen behind, right, in rent. And we're a professionally managed development company. Like, we know our shit, right? And we rent to really financially privileged people for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. And we have 10 units that have fallen behind. One of them, I think 2 of them are under eviction. I actually managed to get a court date for one of them going on Monday. But all of that is to say, like, we're in a better position to manage this stuff than most people are. Mm-hmm. And we still had 10 units that fell behind.
Yeah.
So that represents what, 5%, 4.5% of our portfolio. So imagine like your regular mom and pop landlords. Like, those are the people that are gonna get hit the most.
Oh, they get hit.
Like,
Totally.
And especially the ones where like they depend on that rental income in order to pay their bills, which happens a lot. Every wholesale deal that I've purchased has been either from somebody who was relying on the property like as a place to live and had a repair that they couldn't do, or somebody who was renting it out to somebody else and they were relying on that income and that tenant stopped paying, right? And now these tenants have lived there for a year rent free, a lot of them. Most people don't know how to manage the rent relief program, which is why only like 3 or 4% of that money has actually gone out. So when these people are finally able to get these tenants out, they're going to turn around and they're going to sell the property to get out of this hole that they've been in.
Yeah, and that means I get to have a property, right?
Yes, but that means that instead of there being one property on the market, there's going to be 20, and all of them are going to try to sell quickly. So they're all going to be competing against each other.
Right.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying
Okay.
saying that that's
you will have the challenge of getting a qualified tenant in there too, because they'll probably be emptied. They might be damaged. If they weren't paying rent, they probably didn't take care of the property.
Did you just say that word?
What?
Tenant?
Tenant?
We don't do those.
I mean, I don't, but I know a lot of you guys are stuck in that. I mean, I would sell or finance it on a wrap, but that's just me.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, Scott. Like, that's a very niche piece of real estate. Like, most of the people that I've met learned what seller financing was through Cash and Coffee.
Yeah, they need
Like,
to get education.
yeah.
So that's why I'm excited. I'm not hoping anything bad on people, but I'm excited for the opportunities that are going to become available, because if you have different strategies and, you get education, I'm not, I feel sorry for the mom and pop landlords, but they got to get better education. They got to start learning some stuff, be in better positions to have these houses and have them long term because of these issues. And they can't. So we let's just be straight up. Like, we only make money by solving problems. So it's going to create more problems for us. And even if the prices go down or whatever, I mean, it's still opportunity there for us as real estate investors to come in and, solve these issues. So they keep kicking the can down the road. I want to do some deals. Like, can the millennials get a turn? The baby boomers, look, can we get a turn, please?
I sent this information to Jerome and Carlos on our chat that we have together, but I'll bring it up here. It's one of the other benefits that I just learned recently from my mentor for someone that sell on owner financing or an installment sale. And that is they get to split up the capital gains tax paid over time. Instead of having to pay it all at once. And essentially what they're doing is they're paying that value today in tomorrow's dollars, which is worth less.
Yes.
So they're actually saving quite a bit by spreading it out over time.
You know what's so funny about real estate investing is that you got to know all this stuff.
But it has to be locked in this year, is what he was saying, because they're gonna bump it up next year.
What for selling? What do you mean,
So
taxes?
that capital gains percentage. The capital gains percentage is going to go up. He says, but typically, whenever you sell is what it's locked in for. It's been unprecedented that they don't grandfather that in. So
I mean, you can sell it, but if you don't make a profit from it and you just receive cash flow, you're only paying taxes on the cash flow, right?
Yeah, I think so. You'd have to look that up with accounting.
Right.
But I know there is a capital gains paid on an installment sale in some cases. I don't know the exact case what that would be.
Yeah, I mean that's a good pitch too. Would you like to not pay taxes on this? I mean, how's that?
Well, would you like to spread it out or pay less taxes on this instead of getting charged? Next year I think they're going to bump it up to the high 30s. It's like 32 now, maybe. I got to go back to that article and read it. He had the current rate for capital gains in there, but like they're going to bump it up higher. So like you want to lock it in, sell today, sell on an installment sale. So you lock in the lower rate and you get to pay it off over time.
That's the way, man. That is the way. Just terms. Terms are always the way.
Defer those taxes, baby. Defer.
You can't lose. It's like, all right, I'm tired of this landlord stuff.
I wish I been knew about terms. However, it's hard to get people to understand that. Like, how do you get people to understand that terms is what? Like, you don't got to do everything on terms, but it's a great thing to know about. How do you get people to understand that? Because it's really hard to tell them that. People are impatient. They want all their money. So we're for $100,000. I want 130 right now. Like, well,
well, I mean, the key is that a terms deal is best for someone who's motivated and in pain. So like, you're not just going to go to your regular mom and pop who wants to sell, because they all want cash. You want somebody who has tried to sell it for cash. They need to get rid of it, and cash isn't working right now, or they can't get the price that they want, or the price that they need. Maybe they need to sell it because they have these financial burdens and stuff.
The only reason, I was gonna say, I'm sorry to cut you off, Scott. The only reason why most people are doing what they're doing is because they're government-backed loans. Yeah, that's why. That's why if the government was not there, they would not be able to get funded for a lot of these properties, and then they have no choice but to sell on their own terms. Because they're like, oh, I can't go to the bank, so well, you better sell on terms, and then it's a good idea. But since everybody can get approved for a loan, and like it's like 600, and I forget the credit score number, but it's like a 600 or something like that is good enough. 640.
Yeah, they went back to subprime lending again.
It's just like
silly.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's out of this world, honestly.
But like Jerome, for the deal that you, me, and Carlos were looking at, like she wasn't in pain. She wasn't hurting from the property. I mean, she's hurting, but she doesn't know she's hurting yet.
Right.
That property's already been on there 60 days. It's another month before it's like and she didn't even list it, so it's not even listed. Like, it was ridiculous. She overpaid for the property at the outset. She said that the properties were going for like the low 100s, and she bought it for 170. I'm like, what? Why?
Because she dumb.
Oh my God! Yeah, she dumb with Jerome too. Jerome gave her a good deal. She's like, "Well, this is my investment." I was like, "Really? How's that going?"
That's the thing, man. People take too much personal stuff with it. It's like, listen,
like, how's that going for you? It's been on, been for sale for 30 days. You still ain't sell it. You
like,
turned down an offer.
And then they try to tell you what you can do with it, even though they're not doing it.
Right. You do it.
Right.
You do it. All you gotta do is, like, I was talking to Carlos last night. They're like, yeah, all you gotta do is kick the tenant out. It's 2021. We got COVID and moratoriums. It's not that simple.
Kicking no one out.
Just kick them out and raise the rent. Right. Kick them out and raise the rent.
That's all you got to do.
Well, and Philly has some pretty tenant protective laws too on the books, don't they?
We are communists.
New Jersey does too.
They're not communists.
We are communists.
Go to California and tell them what we got here.
We've got really
bad.
Awesome. We've got really bad squatter support too. If you're a landlord in New Jersey. That's like true. My boss, for my daytime stuff, she has several rental properties and does it in the worst way possible. She owns them all in her own name. She had squatters once at a apartment complex. She owns a bunch of apartments above a store, and she owns the store underneath. And she had squatters there. Couldn't get them out for like 2.5 years and like 40 grand in legal costs. The other tenants were covering for the squatters, so she couldn't even get in contact with them.
Why?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Absolutely.
If I seen that, I would have been like, I would just raise everybody's rent. I'm like, I'm raising everybody's rent. Y'all covering this.
I wouldn't renew everybody's leases. I'd be like,
all right, well, you turn them in, or you guys don't live here anymore. Sorry. No renewal.
Everybody tries to make it seem like you're rich, but once you tell somebody,
that's the issue.
Like, I'm only gonna make $300 a month off of this. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Like,
that's why you gotta own like 20 or 30 of them.
What's more annoying is when they think that that's a lot of money.
Right. $300. Oh, come on.
$300 a month, sure, and then I have to call out a plumber. And that's 150 right there.
That's what the lady told me. She said, "You can't make a killing off my property, ma'am."
That's it. That's how I knew. She just,
what are you talking about? This is not a killing. This is not a killing off a condo that nobody wants. I made you an offer. She said I was making a killing off of her deal. It's no way.
Just think about the appreciation. Just think about it. Think about the appreciation. It doesn't matter.
Appreciation doesn't
matter.
Yeah,
appreciation is the worst part because it could go down in value.
Cash flow.
Yep. I mean, that's what real estate is really for.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. It's for cash flow. It's just a store value, and you just get cash flow from it. But there are people that do like, the equity, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you can do that with anything. You can have equity in a car, in a business.
You can buy a Pokemon card.
Yeah, equity in a Pokemon card. It's the same thing. I'll tell you what, I'll give you part ownership of this Pokemon card.
I bought it for $3 in like 01. Right. It's now worth $300.
Pokemon. No. You're one of those kids, Jerome. I didn't hang out with you at school.
Nah. That's the old people. Pokemon. No, it's Pokemon. Well, that's what I said. No, you said Pokemon.
Like
there's no A there either. I don't think it's an A.
It's no A.
You mean like Mario?
Yeah, exactly.
God.
You know why it drives me nuts too? Because like on the video games, he says his own name.
Oh my God!
That's just Mario. And like,
right.
How are you pronouncing
a lot of this, even Pokemon. They don't say Pokemon. You hear the song Pokemon? Like, I don't know. People kill
I don't know.
I knew. I was friends with a guy in the Air Force here. He was from Oklahoma, like years back, and he didn't know how to pronounce some of the names around here. And he kept calling. We had this creek called the Rancocas Creek, right? We have a lot of Native American names of streets and like little areas. He would keep calling it the Rancocas, even though I'm saying it correctly in front of him multiple times. Rancocas.
It's too much work, man. Too much effort.
Yeah.
Take the hint.
It's just like accepting the terms deal. It's too much effort, man. It's like what? I gotta take it in payments. Yes. You may have to wait to get paid in full. Yes. If you want max price, want more money? Yes. Well, I can give it to you. Just wait a little bit.
Right.
That's funny.
But that means I have to wait. Yes. What are you gonna do with the money? Nothing.
Man, people want it always. People want everything. I once approached this lady about buying a house, and she was like, "Oh well, I want to fix it up myself and then sell it, and then also get like reoccurring income." And I'm like, "Dude, like, what the fuck do you want? Like,
Right.
you don't want anything. Like, you don't want to accomplish anything here."
Right.
And also, like, why'd you call me?
They kill me because she'll fix it up and it won't be fixed up to par and standard, but she'll expect it.
Yep.
You know, I called over my kids and they put some tile in the bathroom, tile crooked,
It's already cracked.
right, door hanging off the slides or whatever. So yeah, man. But so it is official that the moratorium has been extended to October. That's like the official.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been extended by executive order. Technically, it's unconstitutional, but by the time courts work it out, it'll have already expired, so no one's gonna really even challenge it.
Wow.
Okay, and who is again? I don't be too much in news. Like, who's doing this? Who did it? Like, is it the president? Is it the Congress? Who
Well,
did
executive order is the president. Yeah.
the president?
Mhm.
Okay. Because so the interesting thing is, not to be political, but when Trump was doing it, it was like, oh, this big thing, and everybody was like, ah! And now Biden is doing, the same thing, and it's not as much.
They sweep it under the rug. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been pointing out some of those inconsistencies.
well, that's the thing though. When Trump did it, first of all, Trump was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this for 2 months or whatever, and then everything's gonna be back to normal." And Biden's doing it at the tail end of having done it for a year and change. So like, now it doesn't feel like it's like putting
Okay.
a hat on an elephant. It's just like it doesn't really change anything.
All right.
That's what it means.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
How long has he been president now? It feels like forever.
It does feel like forever. It's
Since-
been what, 2 years, 2.5 years?
No, just
Not
this
even
year.
a year.
Is it
Oh,
this
really?
year?
Yeah.
This
My
year's
God.
Because you officially go into every fourth. So 20, 24, 20, 16.
2024.
Yeah, so
Okay.
2021 is when he started.
Wow.
Midterms are supposed to be coming up in 2022.
Yes. That's the
I've been
midterms.
hearing things about how they think that all of the Democrats are going to lose.
I hope so.
Well, Trump's planning a comeback. I've seen
Miguel, let's
Yeah.
brace yourself, Miguel.
Nah.
that. I saw something where he and his cabinet have plans for the midterms. Yeah, so he's going to try something. There's actually a couple of YouTubers that want to run for president now too.
Yeah, dude. I was
that was
following Big
hilarious.
Kevin's campaign for a little while. It seems like he's kind of taking his foot off the gas.
He
Oh, yeah,
needs,
that's-
yeah,
yeah.
he needs to fix himself up because that's the thing. He's too YouTubey.
No, I think he was. Honestly, I don't know. I don't live in California. He was running for governor of California.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good
He's running
candidate.
on a
I don't think
Democratic ticket,
he
too.
can't. He can't run for president because he was born in Germany.
To be honest, I think that I think that's a good movement, and I think we need younger, fresher minds. And I don't
and
always
also,
agree with
sure.
that woman, AOC.
AOC.
Yes, but whatever that is, like the younger people that's getting in there, being involved, I really appreciate that because we are thinking about like different things. Whereas
Yeah.
the other generations, they're like, well, we always use house phones.
Yeah.
It don't work that way
You
no
got
more. You
old
got
men
to
and
use
women
a
that have been there
smartphone.
40 years.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, well, remember the whole Facebook thing? Well, does
Mhm.
Facebook, are you spying on people? Like, no, but we're asking permission to access their devices. You don't understand how this
Yeah.
stuff works. Like, you have to,
There's,
you're supposed to do, like, I understand. Like, that was an embarrassing situation when they tried to interview that guy. It was very embarrassing. Like, you don't understand what you're signing on, what you're doing. Oh, every time I go on Amazon and then I go over to Facebook, they show me the same stuff. Yes, that's how tracking and advertising works.
I remember. The thing that stood out to me about that is one of the senators asked Mark Zuckerberg, "How does Facebook make money?" And then Mark Zuckerberg just kind of looked around like, "Is this motherfucker really asking me this question?"
Right.
And he was like, he was just like,
there-
we sell ads, sir."
Right. There was a young senator from Hawaii. I can't remember her name. I think her first name's Tulsi something.
Tulsi
Or-
Gabbard.
Yeah. So like I've heard her speak, and she was saying like when they get into the House and all that, so it gets very clear that like Democrats go this way and Republicans go this way, and you don't talk to anyone. And she was saying like that's not how it works. Like we're servants of the people. Like we need to be talking to each other. So I like her point of view because she's young and that's how she's viewing things.
And that's kind of how it should be. Even if it wasn't always that way, we should be trying to have those conversations. Like some of us here, we have just different views, but we have those conversations, and we have healthy conversations. Like how can we maybe meet in the middle? Even though Miguel was wrong, I'm willing to have a conversation with him. You know,
I was real confident. I think the news broke that exact same day.
Oh my god!
I checked it later, and I was like, "Holy shit, really?"
So wait, is it a full moratorium, or is it
the exact same moratorium that's been going on?
A full one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Because I read something where it was like, oh well, as long as they could apply for assistance, they were okay, and then all this other stuff. So
no. So the way that it works right now is that you can't evict somebody because of non-payment of rent. And you can't even file for an eviction unless you apply for assistance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they don't even know how to do that. That was what you said, about 5% or something like that. They're trying.
I mean, we at Tierview, like we struggled with it. Right. Wow. And it's like we're fucking like this is literally our job. Like,
and this is part of the issue. Like they don't ever have anything set up correctly.
Yep.
None of their stuff is ever right because they don't know how to click, drag, and drop, like, on computers.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, but I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these folks, once they get out to the other side of this, they're gonna say, "Oh, fuck this real estate thing. I'm gonna sell this house and recoup some money." And then they're gonna look around at their neighbors and be like, "Holy shit! All of my neighbors are doing the exact same thing." I
hope so. I hope they all go to the market.
Yeah. The only thing that'll save it is if there's enough demand right now that for people who can't buy houses to all suddenly buy houses.
I'll buy on terms. I'll buy on terms. Every single one. I'll buy that one on terms, this one on terms, and that way you get your money. It's like when you really think about it, it's the best way because why? You getting the same, if not more, money.
Yeah.
Getting the same.
The problem is that most people have never heard of it.
Right. So most people never heard of it, and I also want to reiterate like something that Miguel always says, like. Because it's very fair. Like it's not. What's the $10,000?
There's not a lot of problems at $10,000.
Right, but people want you want $100,000 up front. What are you gonna do with it? You're not even gonna spend that much, to be honest.
No, you're not.
So no, and that's not how you bought the purchase. That's not how you bought it anyway. You bought it. Right. You put a down payment, and then you pay payments, and that was paid off. Like cash is just.
Yeah, cash is the worst.
If they have financing still in place, what they get was going to go to pay that off first. And then they'll have something left over.
Which is why you should do terms.
Right. It's exactly. You can't lose. You literally can't lose.
But it's just a whole battle trying to convince people to do that. And I understand, but it is what it is.
I mean, that's what I deal with the same thing with the note side of things. So I'm talking to note sellers, throughout the week. My mentor says the same thing to me all the time. And he's like, Scott, I can tell you what every single one of these note sellers wants. He was like, I can tell you exactly. They want full price. They want exactly what's owed on it. He was like, and I can tell you what the condition of the note is and what they're exactly going to tell you. Oh, it's all good. They pay on time. They've never missed a payment. He was like, none of that's true. First off, they'll settle for what they need if you do the talk off right, which I'm working on. I'm not great at. And he was like, and it's almost never ever perfect, which is part of the things you start adding to reduce the price. You're like, oh, you don't have the note. We got to file a lost note affidavit. That's going to cost $150.
Yep.
That's something else that really people should be educated on, is that just regular sellers, is that ultimately you got to do the comps, right? And then you got to minus the repairs. You still have to account for repairs. So this, I was talking to this one guy. He's trying to sell this guy's property for $220 something. I looked at the comps. The comps say 160. I'm like, look, man, the comps say 160. Oh, we're not going to give it away. That's not giving it away. That's what it's worth. If somebody down the street paid for that, and it was done very nicely too. And this property has tenants in it, and it doesn't look as nice. So that means it's not even worth 160. So it's probably worth maybe 140 something. And I'm like, look, I'll buy it at 160 if it makes sense, but it still got to make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carlos, you just gave me an idea. There might need to be there might need to be a course for home sellers explaining why their house isn't worth what they think it's worth. And because Carlos got me thinking, I wrote an article, I haven't published it, but it's called Your Note Ain't Worth Shit. and it explains why your note has to be sold at a discount, and it is not worth face value.
So that's something actually Carlos is working on. He's working on, like you got to say it a different way because people are sensitive.
Right.
My God, don't say that to me.
I know.
I don't want to work with you. You got to say it a different way. So the way you say it is why you should sell your house on terms. This is why this is the best way, and that's something that he's working on. We got to hold him accountable to get that, like that webinar and all that stuff in place. But that's something he's working on. That's that education that we kind of need in this market. That the older generations they already know and understand, but it's not transferred because we're not transferring it correctly through technology. Like you go to a room, you got to go sit in some boring webinar for whatever, and then you can transfer it over to a couple of people. Whereas you should be using like technology or hosting classes like, look, I want to run a webinar and I'm going to tell all you sellers, all of you landlords, I'm going to tell you why you should sell your house this way. You have all those moratorium issues and stuff like that. This is why you should sell the house this way. And it's win-win for everybody. Like, yeah, I know you think you want cash, but here, this is the education on why you shouldn't want cash. This is why you should do it this way. You save capital gains. You save the headache. We can get, tenant, whatever you need is the benefits.
You end up making a little bit more money.
Exactly. There's nobody out there kind of giving them the education, and that's because we didn't always have the resources, the tools, the technology, or even the willingness and the mindset to do that.
And
like,
the reach.
We'll do it. Right. We'll do it. Like the older people that have these strategies and skills, they'll go do it. They'll sit at the table, explain it to that one seller or at the kitchen table. But it's a lot of other sellers out there that need that information. And how do you get it to them? Well, one of the ways you get it to them is, doing like using technology is what I believe. Like we should be using technology to help them understand how they should do it. Even like just now we were talking about TierView and how they went through that process. Like something they could do, they could offer that as a service. Look, this is everything that we did. This is a screen recording of how we walked through the application. This is, a recording of how we had this conversation. Like just putting that together and people pay for it. And you don't have to worry about, whatever it is. Pay for our course to support our thing at TierView. And if that's not enough, guess what? We'll do it for you. Like these are ways to, just utilize technology and resources to, help solve problems. Like ultimately we're solving problems. We're just scaling it out at volume. So that I'm always, thinking about that. Like, yeah, that's a good thing. Like TierView, whatever the process is, how to fill out this application. You do it. Hey, buy it for $19.99 just to support our business. And if that doesn't work for you, Mr. Landlord, you can hire us and we'll do it for you.
Yep.
Right. We'll do the management.
Hacks.
There you go.
Hacks.
Jerome, like you kind of gave me an idea too. Because you and I are focusing on marketing for me raising private capital. But I have that site for sellers that I can buy from. I may, because I have that leads list, if we can target them on Facebook at some point, it might be useful to change the title. I put that funny title up there because I'm sarcastic. Ain't worth shit. But like, I'll change it for why you're getting lowball offers on your note. Or something
exactly.
Like that.
Yep.
And maybe send it to them like in an email once, or track ads like, hey, find out why you're getting lowball offers. Here's a free article that explains boom, boom, boom. And then they'll go into time value of money and all these reasons why it has to be discounted to make sense.
Yeah.
And maybe
and then I can call them and say, hey, you want to sell your note?
Yeah. Maybe there needs to be some education. I think I'm gonna because I did that one turns presentation, but that really wasn't enough. I need to make at least like 4, and then kind of recycle them and say, look, but I'm gonna do that when I have the meetup.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So basically, so I'll say, look, if you want to know more, come to my meetup. We'll tell you how you can sell your house on terms. If you want to sell your house with me, you can. That kind of thing. So I think I'm gonna work on a couple of slides about that.
The education's lacking. I think that's why these deals are hard to do.
Yes.
And it's like, people want to sell. Like your deal, Jerome, was like she had no idea what the reality of her property and selling that property was. Yet she was trying to do it anyways. Like sellers are typically very uneducated, and they're very emotionally involved in the property. They have what we call emotional equity. So the property's worth more to them emotionally than it actually is on the market.
Yeah, and I think that's what the issue is. It's the education. So we got to work on getting that education to people, because think about it, right? We know this and we can make this offer, but think about it. Like, what sellers are going to go to some seminar or webinar where they learn that thing, like in person, especially in person? They're not going to these events.
But online, a free webinar,
Right. We got to take it to them.
Video mini course, absolutely. And one, I think once they understand that, like in your situation, you're not going to make a killing. You're going to make a profit, but you're not going to make a killing. You're not trying to get one over on them and get more money than you really, probably should. You're not trying to steal,
Right, but to them it's stealing.
Yep.
To them.
I was just about to say that.
And so note sellers have that situation too, because they're getting the discount up front. So like one guy I pitched before, we had to get it for a $40,000 discount. He's like, $40,000, and I was like, whoa, buddy. I was like, we don't earn that $40,000 today.
Mm-hmm.
We earn it over the next 200 payments. So take that 40,000, divide it by 200. That's our per month discount. End up being $83.
Yep.
We're only asking for $83 discount a month.
Right.
And the thing about it is too, like, you should treat profit as a line item. Like, people need to realize that. Like, I'm not doing this because I feel like doing it. I need to make money. Like, this is my job.
Exactly.
Like, and not only that, but like, I could go work for somebody else and make, $20, $30 an hour or whatever, $50,000 a year, whatever. I could do that, and that's guaranteed income. But this is a risk.
Yeah.
And I'm risking for $85 a month. Like,
right. People don't understand that.
Well,
Yeah,
then maybe this is not the deal for you.
Right. That's what they want to say.
All right, and then I would say, well, who is, if it's not for me, then who is this deal for? Like, can you explain to me what kind of rationale a buyer would need in order to buy something like this? Because there's not a lot of meat on the table and there's a lot of risk.
Yeah, and I've yet to see any good answers for that. So I can't even keep a straight face.
I would just feel like calling them back in a month or two and be like, yeah, so you sell yet? Because they're still gonna have it. They're like, oh, you haven't? Man, that's such a shame.
That's crazy.
Sure this wonderful investor was gonna come along and give you everything you want, anything you'd possibly imagine. You'd be on a beach in Hawaii somewhere for the rest of your life. Because he was gonna give you so much money for your property.
Because when you really learn, I mean, they're really getting over. A lot of they want to get over. They want to get over on people that actually want to buy their property. They just want somebody stupid to come in and pay $1 million overpriced and not earn any money and just be a slave or whatever they want. It's some outrageous things, and it's like, I couldn't believe it when I was doing. I was like, oh my God, you don't care anything. You don't care.
Yep.
Like, you don't care about. You just care about yourself. You don't even care about if it makes sense to me at all. And I'm trying to be fair. I'm like, I gave you a good price. Like, it's a good price.
Yeah.
I think
like, you'll be there, and I'm trying to make sure we both win. And they're like,
right.
I'm trying to make sure you lose.
I think
exactly.
One roadblock to that might be the word investor if you present yourself that way, because I think at least people that don't have, good finances, when they hear the word investor, they think like suit and tie millionaire. Like, that's their image of an investor.
HGTV ruined it.
You know what I mean? So that word may actually have some really bad connotations when you're using it. You might want to consider.
It does, and I always tell anybody, I say, don't use that word because it does have bad connotations. But even still, when you go in and you don't say that, they just don't understand. So there is a lack of education.
Oh,
That's
definitely,
what it is.
definitely.
Nobody does that if they say you're a business owner.
I just say I'm a guy who buys and sells houses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I say I'm a real estate guy. That's what I say.
It's ridiculous, man. But okay, so that means we're on for another 2 months. So I heard that there were some lockdowns happening. Is that still happening?
Oh, I don't know.
That might happen. That's on the state level.
I'm kind of looking for. I hope, man.
So,
Jerome's like, man. And you know what I'm looking forward to? Nobody being on the road again.
My goodness,
Like,
wasn't that beautiful
area.
when that came?
Oh
My
my
God, my girlfriend, she sent me shopping, and I was like, this is how life should be.
yes.
This is how it should be. This is how society is supposed to be. Not wasteful. Only go out when you absolutely need to.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
I was
that's
enjoying
it.
it.
I almost feel like sometimes when I'm on the road at a stoplight, like, get out of my car, knock on the door, and be like, so where are you going? Hey, where are you going? Like,
Right.
What do you really need to be on the road for? It's Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you need to be driving everywhere which way? Like,
No.
Or can you be home cooking breakfast,
Right.
hanging out with your family?
Do we
maybe
need
playing
2
the
cars per household? No.
No, not at all, man. I went ahead to one of my friends, this girl Emma. And I said to her, I was like, Emma, you know what? I was like, I leave my house in the morning every once in a while, and I feel renewed and refreshed, and my faith in humanity is restored. Then I get in my car.
Yeah.
And it just goes. It's gone.
That's true.
Light turns green, people still sitting there. Left turn arrow. They're putting along. The green arrow is now turning yellow. They're not even through the intersection.
I mean, most people don't even know what they're doing, man. They're just existing day to day, man. They don't know. They just like, right. I'm just gonna drive to the store and stand there for
right.
People, you know what I'm saying? They go there and want to talk with the cashier. No cashiers don't want to talk to anybody.
No.
They want you to get your food and get out. Right.
That's why self-checkout.
How's your day? Okay. All right. Bye-bye. And that's the human interaction they want.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? All right. Have a good one. Peace out.
Right. For like 2 minutes. Right. Okay. Bye. Oh, how's your kids? It's like nobody. No, you don't care.
Yeah. No.
I'm going to be at a different job in like another day or so. So.
Yeah. Most people, when I walk around, like they're zombies, and so like sometimes when we get these cases, I'm gonna sound cold here, but like when people get attacked, I'm like, most people aren't paying attention. They probably deserve it. Like there are usually warning signs. If you look around, and I'll give you guys an example. I was out on a date at Brauhaus Schmitz. So we parked on the side and we didn't have change for the meter. The ones along South Street, you can use your card, but ones on the side streets, you still need change. So we went into the restaurant, we had cash. We're like, let's try to get it changed out. As soon as we came out, we got some quarters and we were going to go to a store to get some more. So they didn't have enough there. And there's a guy standing right in front of her car and he's standing like this, not moving, like right in front of her car. And it just looked really weird. And he had this like bag that it wasn't like down by his side. It was like out in front of him, that was kind of weird. Like, if you have a bag that's with you, you kind of hold it or it's down by your foot. He wasn't fumbling around on his cell phone, just standing straight and like barely blinking. And then as I walked behind him, he was like eyeing me. She didn't even notice. Completely oblivious. Wow. I was like, I don't know if he meant to attack us at the car, if he was going to steal your car while we're in the restaurant. I don't know what was going to happen, but there was something not right about him.
So my question was, what was Randy doing while you walked by him? What was Randy doing with that bag?
I don't know. Like it was just so odd. Like if you go shopping.
I'm just messing, man.
No, I know though, but it was just such a bizarre thing. And like we got into the restaurant, and so we're waiting for a seat, and I'm like, it just still wasn't sitting right with me. I was like, did you notice that guy standing out in front of your car?
Yeah, girls don't know nothing. They just feel safe. Oh my God, I'm walking.
I was like, something don't sit right about me with that guy. I don't know if he's going to try to steal your car or what, but I think we should try to move your car at the very least and get away from that area.
Speaking of Randy, did you how's your
Randy
your property?
It's okay. The builders are supposed to, they said that they're going to go and they're going to actually do the roof.
Okay. So that warranty situation, that's like you got that resolved and fixed?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
We got good dates in line. They're gonna use a new contractor. So we'll wait and see. I'm actually in Japan right now, so hopefully I'll come back and everything will be good to go.
Do they have a moratorium over there?
Japan, I guess, is a whole nother ball of wax over here. I guess it doesn't pay to even get involved in real estate.
I was going to ask, like, how's the real estate there? Like, is it like how?
Is that where they live in closets, or is that like China? Which one is they live in closets?
That's here. That's here.
Oh, okay, that's here.
Yeah. They treat real estate like it's disposable.
Like it's a car. Yeah.
So wherever Randy is right now, that's luxury. He's in a luxury place.
I'm on the Navy base over here. I'm near Nagasaki.
Nagasaki. So wait. So what do you mean is disposable? What do you mean?
Like they replace like a house that's 30 years old is an old fucking house in Japan. They're like, oh, you should tear that down and put in a new one.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if it makes sense.
It does. People just want to keep it for history. Just take a picture.
I don't know, man. My house is 120 years old, and I don't it still has a good 30 years left in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Driving those beaters. That's what happened. It's like driving a beater. It's on the original gas from 1820.
The original gas.
Right.
No. Yeah, my Brianna, she always makes fun of me because she's like, "You're still looking at them old houses. Why don't you go buy a new one to rent?" I'm like, "It doesn't work that way. I got to buy it cheap." So these old
These
houses are
old
gonna be
houses
cheap.
go
She was-
cheap, right?
She was like, this is where the Great Migration happened, right? This is where everybody moved. And I was like, well, I don't know. She's like, look, that's why they got garages like that, where the horses is a 4-horse garage. So, she's always beat me up about laughing, but that's interesting. I did not know that. That's very interesting. They just replace them, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
So do the houses look nice down there then, or what?
They're decent. I might have some pictures of a place that I was at when I was in near the Tokyo area.
Okay.
Because I rented the apartment out, but I think the rent went for like about $3,500–4,000 a month.
Wow.
And
Wow.
what is that in American dollars?
No, I'm talking American dollars.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do they do
it's
down
very
there?
cheap here.
What did you say, 300 or 400?
No. Like 3,500 to 4,000 a month.
Damn.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not cheap.
to rent what? Like the
A
whole
closet.
Right.
To rent a closet, basically.
So-
To rent
that
300
might be a little
square
bigger. That might be around maybe
Two
like
closets.
800 square meter place, so around
2 closets.
900 square foot.
Can you imagine that? Like, oh man, y'all got 2 closets?
For my
Oh.
place, my condos are about 900 square foot. Like, I'd be paying $2,000 to $3,000.
It
Yeah.
goes to show
Living room is like
how
500 square
how
feet.
wasteful, entitled, and spoiled we are as Americans. Like, I'm not saying we should be living in
Oh my
closets,
God.
but we are very
Right.
spoiled and entitled. Like,
I mean, we have more land mass. That's part of
Yes.
the reason.
Well,
and a
yeah,
lower
that's-
population.
It is very much the reason.
Yeah. And they're
but
very
I know,
densely populated.
like, if I took a job out here, I think that I would be able to get about, I think maybe 5,000 a month for a house to rent a place over here.
Mhm.
And then that would also include utilities. So I would be able to get probably a place that's better than most Japanese people.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh,
So what is the average salary over there then?
I don't know.
Okay. It just sounds like it's a good idea to buy a business then and just work on that instead of real estate, because real estate is you need it, but it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's
they
very
do
interesting.
have some property managers out here.
Right.
But
Tier-
I don't
Tier
know
View
that
Japan.
people have money.
All right.
Yeah.
Arigato.
Arigato.
Right.
Konnichiwa.
Do you speak Japanese, Randy?
I can speak some, yeah. So
Okay.
going to restaurants is okay.
Okay.
Getting to the airport, but I'm on the base now, and they have me on a 2-week lockdown. So
Okay.
there's
Oh,
no getting
wow.
out. And so I won't be
Why?
able to
Because of
actually
COVID?
go- Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow. Oh, did you get it?
No, because that's just the way it is coming to Japan. So I can't go to the Olympics. I can't go to anything. I'm just
Yeah,
here
the
in my place.
quarantine. You're in the quarantine,
I'm
whatever.
in
Yeah.
quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how long are you down
Like
there
a new
for?
arrival.
I'm here for a month. 2 weeks are quarantine.
Okay.
Did you have to pay for that?
Well, it's all I bill the government.
Oh, okay. So we're paying for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a nice
Better
trip, Randy.
finance.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Thank you for your
Have
service.
fun.
Randy.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear Japan's cool once you get out and around too, though. I'd like to visit. I don't know if I want to stay there for a long time, but I'd love to see some of the places.
He's like, we want some American man.
Uh,
Randy's going over there. You married, Randy? You think
The
I want to see
racist
where, I wanna see where the original Ninja Warrior was filmed.
Am I? I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
Oh, no. I'm married.
We're
No
live
kids, no
streaming.
kids.
I know,
Don't
right?
get
I'm
us
sorry.
No, I want to see where
Some of
the
that-
original Ninja Warrior was filmed. That show was it was so much funnier and better to watch in Japanese, the original.
Oh, the way they just carry on and talk back and forth with the big, flashy advertisements.
It's different. It's like
Yeah.
it's just a different culture down there. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
It
the
is.
funny thing about that show is that the guys that actually ended up finishing the obstacles, you were usually gas station attendants and firefighters.
Yeah, they were usually just regular dudes. Yeah.
But they were chiseled and fit, so they were like.
I might go there and accidentally get married again. I'm like, dang it.
You accidentally got married the first
Somebody
time.
walking on your back. They take good care of you.
Right. I'm like, dang it. I got married again. Dang it. How'd this
How'd
happen?
that happen?
They're very shy here, though.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, so that's the equalizer. Because you're right, they love American men, but
Right.
then actually to talk to them and get them to do stuff, they're a little reserved.
Like, you want to go on a date? It's like, don't say that. Don't say no. Just say,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
wow.
man. If it's not a yes, it's a no.
Right.
There
Somebody
You
speaking
guys
from
need a little
experience there.
PC.
Right.
There's
PC
Or
police over here.
or if it's not a no, it's a yes.
that's a good way to get in jail, Carlos.
No, that's not how it works at all.
In jail.
Oh my god.
She didn't say no.
Horrible.
That's gonna be-
Horrible.
That's gonna be
horrible,
Jerome's
horrible.
defense in court.
Block this part. Make sure you block this part out. Block this part out.
Oh my God.
This is guy talk.
Oh,
Live stream.
This is
right.
guy talk. This is
No.
guy
I'm
talk.
fighting for my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And on the side of caution, be respectful.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
No, but in general, Carlos, yeah, I know Japanese, tend to be very reserved.
Okay.
On the subway, you're not allowed to talk if you're sitting on public
Really?
transit. Nope.
I like.
You're talking on
I,
your cell phone,
I've
they will look at you.
so I've seen the video.
How
where it's
life
like,
should really be.
Yeah.
Just
Honestly, though, that it does irk me when people talk down the subway.
So did you see? Is that like a real video where they got to stuff people on the train? They got to.
oh, when they're fighting over the
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
that's- you gotta squeeze them in.
During rush hour.
Okay, it's very packed during rush hour. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Now,
very interesting.
Because I'm taller, it's nice because during rush hour, I'll stretch my arms out.
Yeah.
And all of the Japanese people will just kind of fit underneath me. So I
Really?
take a taller like profile on the train.
How
That's
tall
kinda
are you, Randy? How tall are you?
6'4".
You're
Oh,
6'4".
yeah.
Oh, you're like
Yeah, man,
extra
he's-
tall. Okay,
yeah.
I've never seen you in
Yeah,
person.
bully, American
Dude.
bully.
Dude, I
He's
know,
like,
right? Look at it.
He said
tall.
arms out, but he's really doing this. Don't.
My arms are hard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's
God.
great.
Yeah. All right. So, well, was that the other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly, we didn't really pick more than one topic today. We just kind of went off on a tangent. So yeah, we were talking about, that was the whole business model thing.
Okay.
The virtual real estate. What else are you guys working on?
I'm looking for some more terms deals, man. I heard that the market's kind of cleaning up right now.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm hearing. Like, there's going to be some more properties listed, and I'm seeing more. But I don't know. I mean, that was before the lockdowns happened again.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because like what's really going to happen is there's a lot of misinformation coming out about the Delta variant.
Mhm.
And about the level of protection that people have with the vaccine, and that's causing a lot of boomers not to sell their houses still, right? Like, I don't know, like it's
We're
not
going
going
back
to
like a
change.
year.
Yeah, we are. If it's not going to change until people feel confident enough in having other people transfer their houses in order for them to actually list. So it's gonna be tight for a little while. And now with this, the moratorium getting extended, it's gonna be tight even longer.
well, I'm looking forward to more lockdowns because it just gives me an excuse to do something else, and then I'll just come back up when it's time. It's one of those things where people say, "Oh, it's always a good time," and it is always a good time. But the question is, how much marketing do you have to spend in order to get something?
Mhm.
And what's your target? A lot of people sometimes, like, I'm just for cash flow, so there's a lot of guys, they do the flipping, and it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's always a good time if you're flipping, maybe,
Mhm.
because you can always find something busted down. But the whole thing is that's not really said. It's just, they just say, oh, it's always a good time to do real estate. You mean flipping real estate, or you mean
It
cash
depends on
flowing
the
real
market
estate?
conditions, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What are you talking about? It depends. So, but that's just, like I said, I learned to listen more and say, what exactly are you trying to say? And people are talking about flipping. Oh, it's always a good time to flip. Yeah, it's a great time to flip if you can finish the project. Yes, just finish the project, and the market is going to go right to market. People are getting approved. Of course, it's a great time to do that. That's a construction business. That is not real estate investing.
Yes.
That is not
The
investing.
thing about flipping too is like we have never experienced this because we all for the most part got into the market after 2008, but like I heard a lot of horror stories from people that were flipping houses in 2008.
Really?
Yeah, because you think about it, you put all the money into this deal. You probably bought above like what market value was because the market was so hot, and then you put all this money into this property, and then you're on the market trying to sell as the values are going down. Like you're chasing it, and then you're seeing your profits just disappear until you're now you're in the red, but you still need to sell because you have to recoup what you can.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's
that.
and that's on top of the stress and the risk with doing a renovation in the first place.
Right. Those contractors.
Yeah, or you don't know where you're gonna find once you open up those walls. That's what happened to me at Blair Street. We're gonna open up the entire kitchen, and then it turned out we couldn't.
Wow.
Load bearing wall.
And that's exactly why you want to sell on terms.
Yeah, actually, you're absolutely right. It makes sense because you're locking that profit.
You're done. That's it. You're done immediately.
Yep.
Like, oh, okay, that's it. You flip. Like that's the only way I would flip. You flip, and then you keep it via terms.
Then you sell on terms.
Yep.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the high level guys do it. That's what they do.
They'd have to refi usually if they're using hard money though. That's all before they sell on terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be selling on a wrap technically, unless they could pay it off in cash and then sell it.
Yeah, I think I was about to do hard money this one time, and then I was like, "What? How much is the monthly payment?" I was like, "Oh, this thing got a cash flow," and I looked at the deal. I was like, "It's not a good deal, man." So, that's how I knew immediately. I was like, "Oh, nope."
Well, that's why you can't do hard money for rentals. You do hard money for the flip, then you refinance either conventional or you find a private lender who wants to do a longer deal with you.
You can do hard money for rentals, but your refi better be on point. Like that.
That's what I mean. You got to refi it because hard money loans expensive money. Your monthly payment's going to be way too high to make any cash flow. So you have to get as close to like prime rate terms as you can. Like if you can.
Yeah, I mean, you can do hard money and just do interest only on a flip or a rental. I've seen people. I think that's a terrible idea, but I've seen people do it and hold the property for like years on hard money financing.
Wow.
And they're just paying interest only. But I don't know. I think that's a bad idea because you never actually.
I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
Like you own it, but you're
not paying down any principal either.
Yeah, you're not gaining any sort of equity. You're just aside from appreciation.
It sounds really risky.
You're just going to hold it just to go before you refinance it, though. I think that's the idea, correct?
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Yeah,
but I've seen people just
keep
the hard money financing.
Why would they not do that? Do they just not have the credit for it?
It could be that they're overextended on other projects. It could be a variety of reasons. Sometimes they just think, oh, I'm making $500 a month off this property. Why would I, why mess with it? Which is dumb. Like you're not getting equity.
You're not getting any of the equity or any of the other benefits. And then when you go to sell, you better hope the value went up and not down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like everything else. There's the education levels and whether or not you realize you're in danger or not. Most people don't even know they're in danger. They're just like, I'm going to keep doing this thing. That's okay. And then next thing you know, they're in danger and they're like, oh, I lost everything.
It's just silly. I don't know. For me, even if I didn't have the education that I have, just seeing that like a hard money loan's what, maybe 12% or something.
Yeah.
So I'm paying 12%, but I can refinance at 4%.
Yep.
Like just that alone would be like, yeah, I'm refinancing as soon as I can. I don't want to be paying 12% to you. I can pay 4% to them.
That's what happens when you don't have mentorship, though.
Yeah. I mean, Scott, you bring up a good point too. Like, money is basically free right now because of these interest rates are so low.
Oh my God, that's why I refinanced. I went from 4.25% to 3.25%.
Yeah, it's insane. It makes no sense. Like, it really makes no sense. But with inflation being what it is, right? And then the Fed has already indicated that they're going to raise rates in 2022. Like, the interest that you're paying on a house right now is basically nothing.
Yes.
I just read an article that actually interest rates are starting to go back down again.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like how like I would say like around like the January, February time, it was at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
And it went up from there.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's starting to head back down towards that low again.
I could see that happening.
That's what my loan officer, I was on the phone with him yesterday. That's exactly what he was saying. He said we saw a little spike up and they're coming back down again.
Yeah.
Because of this Delta and there's possibly the potential for lockdown, I guess, or whatever. I
was thinking about it. I was like, man, maybe I should get some debt in my name, man. But I don't know, man. I'm just like that. Them FHAs, they sound real good right now. I'm like,
do it, man. You
What
rent
are
you
what
rent
are
where you
we?
live, right?
What is everybody like? So, are you against the lockdown or for the lockdown, and why?
I'm against the lockdown,
Why?
surprisingly enough, because the reason that we're locking down again is because of the people that refuse to get the vaccine. And we're doing it to protect those people.
But
And granted,
so here's the thing, right? We keep saying that it's the people that aren't getting vaccines, but don't if you aren't if you vaccinated, you're like basically immune from the virus.
you can get it, but your symptoms are going to be very, very mild. If you have symptoms at all.
Then kind of what's the point of it?
What do you mean?
The vaccine. Like, how can we blame the people that are not vaccinated when people that are vaccinated don't have a chance of catching it? So,
No, that's the thing. People that are vaccinated can catch it.
right. So
But
is
their
it really a
symptoms are gonna
vaccine?
No,
What
it
is it?
is.
Is it a
It is.
vaccine or is it a mitigator?
No. Because when you get any sort of virus, you're still infected by the virus. The vaccine shows your body how to fight off the virus. But there's nothing that prevents the virus from getting like inside of your body. It's like you get the flu, right? Like if you have the vaccine for the flu, your body is like, oh, I've seen this before. I know how to deal with this. And so when you get the actual flu, your body's like, oh, okay, let me just take care of this real quick. But you still got the flu.
I think what Jerome's asking is like, all right, so let's say that you've already gotten the virus before, and you just haven't gotten the vaccine. There's no difference between that and the vaccine because you still have that memory.
There is the vaccine is more tailored for your body to be able to fight it off. But also, if you just get the virus just normally, like
I don't think so because it's just a blanket vaccine over everybody. It's not tailored for just Miguel or just Scott or just Carlos.
No, but that's the thing. So let's say you get the vaccine, right? It is a weakened or an already dead form of the virus, right? Of what we perceive to be the virus.
Well, that was how one of them are, and historically, yes, that's how they are. Now they use mRNA technology.
Yes, so it's a part of the virus that your body then identifies. If I get it, right? If I get the COVID variant or whatever, my body recognizes it immediately as, okay, this is something that we need to fight off, and it gets rid of it. So I still got infected, but my body got rid of it, so therefore I didn't experience the same level of symptoms that I would experience if I didn't get a vaccine.
I'm still trying to genuinely understand how is it the people that are not vaccinated's fault if the people that get a vaccine are like basically immune to it. Supposed to be.
There's a difference between immunity and a lack of symptoms. Because you're not immune, you're just not going to have symptoms.
So it says, like, the official definition for vaccine, a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against one or several disease, prepared from the causative agent of, I don't know what any of this means, but that key there is a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against.
Right, but it's not real immunity though. So that it's the words that they use is not the correct word.
Believe it or not. There's a difference between a disease and a virus. So
that's fine. All right, so they got the definition wrong, but still, how is it the people that are vaccinated, like, how can we blame them if the vaccine is supposed to protect you? Like, why are we blaming those people versus the people that are giving out this vaccine? Or like, how is it the people that are not vaccinated's fault versus the people that gave out the vaccine?
Because the people, it's not your fault, but the reason that we would do another lockdown is because if I get exposed to coronavirus, right? Like, I'm not going to have symptoms. I'm probably going to be fine because I've been vaccinated. Whereas if somebody who hasn't been vaccinated gets exposed to the same virus, they're going to have they're likely to have severely worse symptoms than what I would have.
So if you didn't get the vaccine, let's use me for example.
Their choice whether to not get the vaccine. Like, isn't that their own personal responsibility?
So
Absolutely.
If I didn't get the vaccine and I die, who do I have to blame?
Yeah.
You have to blame you.
Myself. Right.
Yeah. So that's why I said I'm okay with getting rid of the lockdowns now. because
So-
the people.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
okay.
kind of been my view on it, is that
Okay.
there really is no reason for the lockdown, because if you feel you're in danger of dying from COVID, then get the vaccine. If you think you're going to be okay, and for whatever reason you think you'll be all right, you want to take that risk, that's on you.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
personal
but what
decision.
if
Mhm.
though, Scott, you don't believe in a vaccine, but you also don't believe, like we can't just say that, like if you think
What?
you're gonna die, get the vaccine, but I don't trust it, as an example, right?
That's fine.
So now what?
Well, that's the other thing. If you don't trust the vaccine, so it's still weighing a risk. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm scared of getting it, but I don't trust the vaccine. And then now you got to decide: am I going to get it anyways, or am I going to risk maybe having some severe, symptoms?
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But still, it falls on you, though. It's your personal choice.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean,
Right. I'm cool with that.
ultimately, this is going to kill a lot of old people and a lot of people that are overweight and stuff like that. It is because that's why they're doing the lockdowns. That's why they did it. It's not gonna harm younger people. But imagine just a bunch of boomers just getting wiped out.
Yep.
Yes.
My buddy keeps sending me articles and stuff of like healthy people that, they got Delta and they're in severe condition or died. Well, the one dude was like 300 pounds at 5'6". He's not healthy. The other guy was a bodybuilder. I was like, you mean he's hopped up on steroids, SARMs, pre-workouts that are basically one chemical removed from cocaine.
Yeah.
And he's probably 5'6" to like 6 foot, and he's probably 250 to 300 pounds of muscle, which again, one of the guys that I follow makes a really good point with the BMI. He goes, it doesn't matter if it's all muscle or fat. You weighing 300 pounds at 5'6" is not healthy for your joints or your heart.
Yes.
So I was like, stop sending me this BS, dude. These people that are not healthy that are dying. Like, I was like, I already knew this.
Yeah.
So I've chosen not to get the vaccine, but I haven't had a cold in over 16 years.
Yeah.
I haven't even been sick. Haven't taken a day off of work.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes.
I'm confident that my immune system, and I take care of myself. I work out, I eat right. I'm confident if I were to get it, I probably already had it and were asymptomatic, didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So the thing is this, is that I'm for the lockdown because it's for my own selfish reasons. I want people to adapt and change how they do
I
things.
agree.
That's what I want, because there's a lot of unnecessary overhead that we use and a lot of things that basically we just waste. And you don't really need, like, for example, people are working from home now that should have been happened years ago.
Yeah.
Now they're going to talk about hybrid workplace. You really don't need a hybrid workplace, but you do need a place for people to come in and build culture, but they don't want to build something new. They just want to keep doing the same old thing. So there's nothing wrong with having a place like, hey, look, every Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to meet up for an hour or two and talk about the company or whatever. It takes a whole different structure of society, basically.
Yeah.
And nobody really wants to do that. So, I mean, ultimately, they're trying to really hold on, but they're only going to make it worse. So if a lot of boomers want to stay, I guess, in the mix, ultimately you have to do a lockdown, because they're going to get taken out anyway. They're going to get taken out because of this thing. This is just, it's sad to say it that way, but it's just, they're going to get taken out because
It's
just going to be one thing after the other, and the vaccine isn't really going to fix anything. It doesn't fix anything. So then you're going to need another booster. Then you need another booster. Then you need another booster, because it's just going to keep mutating. That's just how viruses work.
Right.
So Scott, you are against the lockdown because you want people to rely on their own personal choice, right?
Yeah.
And Carlos,
I'm not
for
against it. I'm not 100% against the lockdown either, because I agree with Carlos's points.
Right.
That there's no reason why you're going to the office when you can work from home virtual.
Got you.
There's absolutely no reason. And the other thing that I've seen as well, what we talked about it earlier with the car situation, people went back to being wasteful and driving all over the freaking place, and you don't need to.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to
kinda
summarize your answer for the stream or whatever. Now, Randy, for or against, and why?
I would be against, because I just think it takes away from people's personal freedoms. However, a lot of the points that you're making as far as the benefits, as far as becoming more efficient, I agree with that as well. Um, being able to be to do virtual, I think, is a direction that should have been done a while ago. But I think if there's an issue with people, I don't think you can I don't think it's right to just say, all right, everybody, you now can't go home. Like it just doesn't seem right. If now we're put in a situation where you have, whether you want to have the vaccine or not, it's your personal responsibility. Whether you want to go and maintain a healthy lifestyle or not, it's part of your own personal responsibility. It's part of being an adult. If you're worried about it, then you should go and separate yourself from others rather than having the whole world go and separate themselves from each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel.
Miguel, we got two late balls hopped on. You want to?
Yep. Ahmad, Jeffrey, welcome.
Well,
Thanks for joining us for the last half hour of Cash and Coffee.
sorry, what?
Ahmad, go ahead and give us your introduction.
Hi guys, my name is Ahmad Turpington. I'm a real estate investor, primarily focusing on wholesaling and lease options right now. Open to subject to deals as well. Here to join you guys, learn a thing or two. Good laugh as always. Apologize for my tardiness. I'm 3 hours behind right now, but yeah. And
Cool. Where are you right now? California?
Yeah,
Nice.
in the Bay.
Nice.
I love to give my my 2 cents on the lockdown, whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's let Jeff introduce himself first, but then we'll come back to you. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff, what's up, man? Jeff, wholesaler, landlord, and entrepreneur. Just doing my thing. I just loved hearing the conversation, man. That was awesome. So
Nice blanket.
thank you. Welcome. Look at that. That's nice. My birthday.
Ahmad, give us your perspective on this whole lockdown thing.
So the format, Ahmad, we've been doing whatever. The format is: are you for the lockdown or against it, and then why? Same for you, Jeff. So
Got it.
All right. I am for the lockdown. I feel like we never gave the lockdown a chance. I think we never did.
Give it a hug. Invite it over for dinner.
what does that mean? What do you mean by gave it a chance?
My Biden brother.
Ahmad, you know people in New York that did lock down? They stayed in their houses, still got it. Even when they're in their house.
Yeah, let them finish though.
If
Viruses go through walls.
If you closely paid attention to the other countries, those who have success with the virus or taming the virus, and those who didn't. So we idiotically did the same thing that India did. We did the same thing that India did, right?
Yeah.
And what India did was I think they were in the middle of an election or something, but they opened up prematurely.
Yeah.
And they got hit left and right, and we had to send them vaccines and ventilators, et cetera, et cetera. You think that we'll learn after them? No. We could have learned after, I think it was New Zealand or another country where, it was like a free prison. Like you had to be in it at a certain time. You couldn't leave your house. Groceries were delivered to you, and they had a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it, but I will note that it also exposes not a loophole, but a downside to our society. So we're tackling the pandemic, which we should, that's first and foremost, but it also highlights how little control over our lives we actually have. So it's kind of like, okay, it's for the common good, but while we're at it, you're not that free, So it's a yin and yang, but I think we're adults and we have to do things we don't want to do. And as far as a business standpoint goes, it does highlight a lot of the BS. That's another thing that our society, is going to get exposed and called out for. a lot of the BS stuff that we go through that it shouldn't have to be, so but right now life is more than business. It's the thing that helps drive our society, but humanity is key. So I feel like we should be concerned with health, saving lives, and so forth. But depending on who you can. Some might call some folks a libtard. Some might call folks a Trumper. But at the end of the day, humanity is first, and I think that should be the nucleus.
I think that.
Very well said, Ahmad. Very well said.
That was really
very
good,
well
man.
said.
Really good.
How I feel.
I'm so like a while ago, and then I'm gonna let Jeff go. But a while ago, I just think people are like, "Oh my God, this is not working." But I'm really, I guess proud is the only word I can think of, is that we understand like the nonsense that we are doing out there in the real world, in society.
Yeah.
Like Ahmad said it straight up, like it's a lot of BS that we go through that we don't have to go through. It is.
Yeah, because of boomers.
All for the love of money.
No, it's for boomers. It's boomers.
Yeah, boomers.
It's all boomers. It's
Yeah.
all boomers. All of it. Every single
All
one.
boomers.
So Jeff, tell us why you want to go back to the old way of living.
Man.
He didn't even wait for him to answer. He's on
Because
mute.
it's comfortable.
You're on mute, Jeff.
I know
You're
you
on
guys
mute.
are like,
See, there you go. There you go.
We know him. We know him well enough.
meet
Yeah.
people, PI, and Marlboro cigarettes together. It was a man chip. Yeah,
Oh, man.
close proximity to people. I don't know where this is going, if it's more business pertained, if it's more humanity or intellectual. I don't know what framing the argument is going to be about, but like on the let's say on the humanity side of it, like public safety is number one. We should always look out kind of for each other. And there's idiots out there that, like, it used to be like an honor system, honor code. Hey, look, if you're sick, stay at work, or if you're, stay home, or if you're doing this, stay this. Nobody does that anymore. So like, infected people just walk around, and it causes more infections and that kind of deal. But if it was looking at the business side of it, man, for a business side of the system, I think that for me as a landlord, I've seen it both ways. I've seen people do really good with it, and I've seen people do really bad with it. And I see people that are like, hey, free government money, bro. Hey, listen, hey, texting me. Hey, Jeff, I can get you free money, man. Here's like, you want $30,000? He's like, I can just tell the guy just tell him that in October I stopped paying, and then we'll split the money together. Like, I've seen that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, it's kind of icky because the lockdown, it's for a reason, because people can't, whatever, the virus or whatever. But on the other side of it, man, there's so much people scamming off that system I think for me, I mean, I don't know what the argument is for what's going on, the framing of this thing, but for me, that's the thing I've seen the worst out of it, is that, this lockdown, whatever, but man, people not paying, eviction moratorium, like all that stuff. Like, okay, you're trying to benefit people that can't pay and all that stuff, but man, I don't know. The majority, if I've seen people doing that, it's just scamming. They're not. It's not like they're, COVID's, I can't work or I can't do this. It's just scamming. Like, why should I work? I got 13 weeks of unemployment. Why should I even go to work? And so I have like two tenants that are doing it now.
Jeff, can I also say this? That's ridiculous, and that breeds a lazy society, but it also highlights, I mean, it's all about perspective, but that also highlights, if a person can live better off unemployment, what does that say about the common workplace?
Yeah,
that's true.
If someone has a boost in quality of life from a $500 unemployment check, what were you going for? McDonald's?
Bringing out good points.
But I think the safety net that you're talking about, it's for people that actually do need it, like really hit hard times. I'm talking about, I have two tenants that work harder at finding unemployment and money than they do actually finding a job. And I think that could degrade society as well, because now, look, hey dude, I'm hustling out there. Like, what are you doing hustling? Oh yeah, I'm hustling trying to find my unemployment money. I'm hustling trying to find rent money and all these programs. And they're like on the computers, man, fighting all these grants and all this stuff for Corona. And I was like, and they think they're hustlers. They're like, dude, I'm working.
They
like,
are
no,
though.
bro.
They are.
It's like there's like
That's the wrong thing.
Do you remember the PPP programs where guys scamming that to get like millions?
Go to jail.
Oh, well, yeah, the one dude he got arrested. He went to jail for it.
A lot of people went to jail for that.
Yeah, and it's like these guys think they're full-time hustlers, man, and
They
like,
are though. How can you say they're not hustlers?
Because it's not it's free money. You're right, but like, man, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the different way of thinking, man. Like, for me, I'm like, go get a job, bro. Like, you know, minimum wage in Jersey is $12 an hour. Like, go across the bridge and you know, make money that way. Like, there's ways.
There's no jobs.
Huh?
It's not enough jobs.
McDonald's hiring.
Everybody's hiring right now.
Well, yeah, everybody's hiring because them jobs suck. Nobody wants the jobs.
That's absolutely right.
My son's got a job making $13 an hour.
Doing what?
Minimum wage, flipping. I don't know, cleaning the parking lot.
It
sucks.
It won't be like that long though.
Oh well.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. So here's what I think is very interesting, is that the only reason I'm for the lockdown, like I said before, was because it basically forces new ways of thinking. Okay, now the reason why they're doing this in the first place is because they don't want old people to pass away. That's what this is really for. Older people and basically people that are basically out of shape or they have like really bad problems. Of course, there's going to be some healthy people in that mix, but the reason they really want to lock down is because this is a new addition to a virus. This is not even like, you know, it's a new addition. So this is something else besides the flu, besides cancer and everything else that goes on now. This is just something else that adds on to killing older people faster. So if they did the lockdown right in the first place, this wouldn't really be a problem. It would not be a problem if everybody just stayed in the house for a whole month and you have necessary work, like go out there, if people go make the food. Yeah, even 3 months, you have people just go out there, make the food, you know, go do this, go do that. But because there's other agendas there, now you got to basically worry about things like, like they didn't think this whole thing through.
Yeah.
They didn't really think it through.
Not.
Right. So they could have said, hey, we're going to pause mortgage payments. We're going to pause this. We're going to pause that. Everything's paused. So everybody's paused. It's not just one people that's paused. Yeah. You know, but what you do, you leave everybody in the house, let's just say for 3 months, right? And basically you go get what you need. Just like that, you can eliminate a lot of sicknesses just like that. A lot of viruses and a lot of other things. Now it's gone forever. There's no mutations. There's nothing going on as long as everybody has a plan and a strategy. So the thing is that because they basically botched it, right? They botched the job. Now you got all these people trying to scam the system. Which people are going to scam anyway.
Oh yeah, they've been doing it since before this.
Right, they're going to scam anyway. But it's like the whole thing is that there's always going to be those low-level people that want to scam the system. Yeah. But the whole thing is that ultimately now, those people that had a job and were trying before, now they're going to try to do the same thing because now they're trying to survive because it was a botched job, and it's all because of people that are not thinking strategically. At the end of the day, they're not thinking. They're just thinking, oh, let's lock down and save our lives because we're old. That's why. That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking, hey, let's go let the young people out there go do what they got to do. Let the young people work right now. We're going to stay indoors, you know, and let the old people stay inside until we can get over this thing or figure something out. That they want everybody to do what they want to do. So that's ultimately, that's what I think.
Yeah, but I think the safety net is just causing people not to work, man. And that's what pisses me off. Is like, dude, these guys are trying to scam the system, working to scam the system. And I'm like, dude, go get a job. Like, this is not going to go away anytime soon.
It's not, but it's like to what Ahmad was saying, like, are these jobs really necessary?
But
no,
but
robots.
Right. This is one thing that I must mention, and I'm not trying to stir up a political debate, but it's sickening that someone or a group of people can manipulate and kind of exploit what they're, because Jeff made a great point. You need to get a job. Unemployment, everyone doesn't need unemployment, but you use that very thing for your political gain. So you're exploiting the system yourselves when you're supposed to be reinforcing the system. There's like down in Texas, they opened up not because they felt you're impeding on constitutional rights. They opened up to help push through legislation that aligns with their party. And like I said, I'm not choosing Dems or GOP, but it's like you're supposed to work for us, then you're exploiting the system which you dictate and create, and it's like, so who can you rely on? You can't rely on citizens, you can't rely on federal officials. It's like, it's everyone is out for self gain. It's like no one's thinking about the collective sincerely.
Yes.
But I don't think we've had politicians in office that saw themselves as public servants rather than overlords and leaders.
Not since Bill Clinton. I didn't do it.
They no, for years. I mean, because seriously, they're completely out of touch with what it's like to be an American citizen. Yeah. They're most of them are millionaires. They have, bodyguards, the whole 9 yards. I mean, they have no idea what it's like.
I was wondering why, Manchin was pushing back on a lot of things that his party was trying to push through. And then I read an article that said somewhere along the lines that he's heavily backed by a telecommunications company. It's like, that's why.
So the reason why they're going to make everybody go back to work is because they all have investments in commercial real estate. So that's the real reason. But you got to really know money though.
Damn. All the
Spot
money.
on, Carlos.
You have to know their personal investments.
Yeah. Yes. Right. So once you know. But if you don't know, then you think, oh, it's like to get everybody together. It's like, no, because a lot of people's retirements are baked into these things too.
Yep.
It's a lot of stuff that's baked into the system, but it's really not efficient anymore because of technology. That's the problem. They need to just accept that, hey, this is the future. We need to go through with this now. And I think part of that is what they're trying to do. We do need some form of UBI. We do need that. But it's got to be some kind of equitable UBI though, where you have to do something for that UBI, but
work.
Yes, you got to do something. Farm, pick some grass or something. You got to do something.
Yeah, and it's not. So like Jeff is like I agree. People should contribute. I don't know if they should necessarily have a job, but flipping burgers, nobody should be really flipping burgers. A machine can do that. You should be contributing as a person somehow to society, something that a machine can't do. Flipping burgers, cleaning parking lots, that's not stuff that people should be doing.
Well, that's the thing. You think about that extra income that we get. Okay, let's use the word value, right? The wealth that we're producing because of this automation, right? Back in the day, like in the 50s and 60s, it used to go to somebody inside of a factory that was doing that one piece of the manufacturing process.
Right.
Back then, there were manufacturing jobs, right? Now it goes straight to the top. It goes to the owner, to the CEO in the form of the bonuses, and to the stakeholders, to the shareholders of the company. And that's why we have this wealth inequality. And I think that to Carlos' point, this is why there's value in the idea of universal basic income, because we're taking that wealth and we're putting it back at the bottom where it has been for the last 60 years. Yeah. So that's kind of like that's my perspective on what's important about UBI.
And you recall that story where where Ford Jr. is looking at the automated plant, and he's like, and he talks to the union president, and he's like, well, I guess you guys are gonna be out of a job soon, or won't have to do it. He's like, yeah, who's gonna buy your cars then?
Yep, right, absolutely.
Like, how am I gonna, how you're gonna be out of workers? That's great, but now who's gonna buy the Ford product? Not a robot.
Right.
So that goes what that goes
feed the bottom.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, right, exactly. Not a robot. Therefore, back to what Ahmad was saying, a lot of this stuff is a waste. We don't need 3 cars per household. Yes. We don't need 2. We only need 1.
I don't want to say the government should be giving out some kind of rent voucher, but that is something they should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's something we should be thinking about.
No. If you have to give out a rent voucher, that just hints that the cost of living is too high, or rent is too high.
Because the government inflates it with their loans. So it's a lot of government issues, but they only really need to be involved in like very specific things. So
Right.
and one of those things is basically like, hey, look, if there's automation coming, you need to then replace that automation with money. So if you're going to use automation, you got to tax it. You tax it and then
Yeah.
you give it to the people.
Yeah.
That's how you do that, right? That's how you do that
Right.
specific thing. And how do you give it to the people? UBI, or AKA a rent voucher, because you can really live very well once you don't have any rent.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Your
Right.
rent and mortgage are your biggest expense.
Right. So if they just did that, that would eliminate all the real problems.
That's a
And
very
basically,
good point.
right. So then if you were to do a lockdown, what do people need to worry about? Nothing.
Yep.
They need to worry about nothing. But that's the problem, is that they
Right.
they don't have people like this thinking.
And you take them off that job where they're wasting all their time flipping burgers, and now they're thinking about stuff. And maybe, yeah, some of them are still going to be out there. How can I get free money? But your mind is now free.
Now you
Like
can
your
educate
mind is
yourself.
free to think about other ways to contribute to society. Some people are going to do some toxic things, but we need to
Some
free up
people
our
are gonna do
minds.
some
We need
great
to do the
things.
stuff that
But-
robots can't do.
But that's why the 1% wants this. They need the dummies, just like we don't need the billion.
We all need the
going out of
I-
space.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Just funny.
I mean,
I'm
just to
looking
show
at-
you what's
looking at some-
capable during a
Like,
pandemic.
I need you to be a dummy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really dumb. You're not dumb.
It's not dumb.
No. All right. Well, sorry.
He's
Dummy
talking about
dummy's
those
not-
that buy the
not
line,
word.
hook, line, and
I,
sinker.
I need you to be educated than me, so now
I think you're thinking about it.
loophole or
I
a
think-
subsidy
I think
think
the,
I don't have to fight for it.
Yeah,
You know-
I think you're thinking about it wrong, because here's how it actually works. The robot is the most optimal way. There's no
Yes.
other way.
yes.
There's no way to beat that. Once it's there forever. You
the
can't
most
beat that
efficient.
anymore. Right.
Yeah.
So at that point, it doesn't make the person stupid. It just means this no longer is necessary for a human to do anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
The value that
I
you
was-
would be
I
contributing
was
is
piggy-
inefficient.
Right.
Yeah.
So eventually, all things will be that way. Not all
Yes.
things, but a lot of them.
A lot of things.
So they have to then, but they don't do that on purpose, because the businesses are basically paying for the politicians to not do these things, like
Yeah.
basically tax automation.
Well, I meant what I said because Jerome inspired the thought of, okay, let's just say you had like a certain amount of lawyers, and you have more people than you have positions to be lawyers.
You don't even
I
need lawyers.
I need someone to be a dummy, so I secure this position, because if not, if we all know the same thing, and if we're all
Exactly.
competent, it's a little more neck and neck to to have that
Right. So now you have to
job,
find out a
or-
way to separate and differentiate yourself, and
You have
people
to be
don't
more
want to do that
competitive.
work. They don't
Yes.
want to do
Yeah.
that work. But the better you become as people, the better it is for society.
Yes.
and they
We don't
fail to
need 10
realize-
lawyers. So okay, we got 9 lawyer spots and we got 10 lawyers. Well, lawyer that's not great at being a lawyer, even though you only lost by 1 point, go be
No,
something
no.
else. Think of something
Well,
else.
No, it's not even that. Folks are so greedy that they fail to realize, if I help you out, it's not going to take away from me. In fact, it might create a new position that's just as prestigious.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
not-
So it is greed, but it's also like laziness and stubbornness.
Yeah.
That's the primary driver. We
Yeah,
always
it-
done
it-
it this way. We always use house phones. Now we got smartphones though. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, and when you kind of think about it too, is basically the smartphone replaced so many businesses. The camera, Kodak.
Oh yeah. Replace the camera, microphone,
Right.
video
Yeah.
cameras.
Right. So just like that, all those
video games, the handheld games.
they're all gone. But the whole thing is
Blockbuster.
that you need to then, because this is the most optimal thing, and when you finally have something like this, you need to then tax the business and then give those people something, okay?
Yes.
Because they need something, because they're not going to just change.
Right.
They're not
Not
just
right
going to
away.
change, right? Not right away. So you need some kind of UBI or some kind of safety
Ugh.
net there for people. And if you just got rid of all the other fluff and all the like Social Security and all the other stuff, what do you need Social Security for if you have UBI? You don't need it. You have your rent voucher, and you got a couple $100
Right.
every month. If you want to go do something else, then you're open to doing that and make some more money. But
See, sorry, go ahead, Carlos.
no, go ahead.
So as far as I'm against the idea of a rent voucher. If we're gonna do UBI, we should do a needs based.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but your dollar, that dollar needs to compete with every other dollar that's out there, right? That UBI dollar needs to compete with every other dollar that's out there. So if you want to say like, okay, here's your UBI, here's a check for $2,000 a month, right? Like some people, to be completely honest, some people are going to spend that on the new pair of Jordans that just dropped this month. Yeah. Right. The way that I feel about it, that should be fine. If that person decides to spend that money on those Jordans instead of paying their rent the way that it should be, that's that person's prerogative, and it's an unfortunate choice that they made. And guess what? They're going to get evicted, and that's the free market at play. Yeah. But when you say, okay, here's a rent voucher, you can only use it on rent, like that's great. Like that landlord is going to make money, but now that landlord knows that this person is getting $1,500 a month on rent every month, like paid for by the government. So what they're going to do, if they're smart, is they're going to charge $1,600 because they know that to that tenant he's only really paying $100.
Right. So maybe the rent voucher isn't as a good idea, but maybe the UBI, and then you can use it on the rent if you want. Is a good idea.
Yeah. The way I feel about it is like we should let people make poor financial choices. That's the truth. Because if we hold their hands and guide them through the process, there's going to be so much government money that the cost of these things that are being subsidized is going to go up.
Inflation.
And there's also perspective as well, because I agree, like, the first thing you bought was a pair of Jordans. Are you serious? But then we live in a time where, we have these.
There's nothing wrong with buying that.
No. If you can afford it, something. Right. I'm looking at motorcycles right now.
No, I feel like but we live in a time where we have these I refer to them as make-believe jobs. So like they could be buying these Jordans for their image because they're influencers, so they need to look good just to make some more money. So it can be an investment, but universally, like,
okay, here's what I'm saying is that it's so basically people think living check to check is really horrible. It's only horrible when you live in a system where you need to have so much more. Yeah. So basically, if you have a system where you have your basic needs met, okay, and there is a subtle form of comedy. It's a very subtle form, but we have the support system now to do something like that. We have the support system. Why? Because we have automation in machines. People were trying to do it a long time ago without machines. That's the problem. Yeah. But now we have robots. So all that stuff is coming. It's coming. So you will have the free market.
Let's transition this to real estate for a sec. So we're talking about like UBI. Let's talk about what equally based housing. Like everyone gets at least 1,000 square feet, or everyone gets
not that because
the decision of UBI to go and uniform everything, right? Make it all subsidized.
Because it makes no sense for a family of three to be staying in a row house that's 750 square feet big.
I agree.
Right. So let's really boost the quality of life. If we're really serious about it.
No, it doesn't work that way. You have to still leave people. You have to leave the choices up to the people, like Miguel is saying. But at the same time, there has to be some kind of form of UBI, meaning the income that you're going to make because of automation. That's why. So that's the reason why you're being rewarded or not being rewarded, but you're getting something because of the automation. You will never have a job again because of that.
Does UBI count for? Did UPI go for DTI? So now, do I count my UBI as income now?
I would. It's income.
It's income. Yeah.
So everybody gets that. So your housing prices again now. So everybody makes 1,000 a month. So on top of what they're making for real, then you have a really great market. That's what people's got. I think now you can afford more. Now you can afford more because now you make $1,000 more without doing anything. Plus your income. Now
the market will adapt. They're always going to be the smart people. I think
that everything's going to be more expensive because the money's going to have to come from thin air. It's going to have to be printed from the government.
Yep.
So it's just going to go and force inflation to be that much higher.
Yep.
So what
Not if it's
ultimately
on
in my mind is going to happen is
sorry.
that your savings is just going to be worth less.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Well,
You
that's the
don't
thing,
need-
That's the point.
You don't
The
need
way
savings.
Go ahead, Carlos.
You don't need savings if you're operating on a system like that. You don't need to save. If it's a good, efficient system, it's a good system. Why? Because you just have digital coins, just like that. You have digital coins. There's no need to print money. You just have you have a steady amount of digital money. When people go out there and buy things, then they go make things, and that's it. Like that's really it. So there's no need for a lot of that fluctuation. Like I said, the system could be really, really good, but people have to think about it.
Yeah.
People are basing everything off of the old way of thinking. So if you base everything off the old way of thinking, it's like, well, you can't have UBI because then we're going to print more money and the house is going to go up. That's if you're operating in an old system. You have to really change the system altogether. Yes, completely. You got to change everything because you're thinking about the whole picture now and thinking about machines, promissory notes, systems, and stuff like that. If you had a really good system, you could push one button and pause everything.
So will there be a need for stocks?
No, that's like I said. There's really not a lot of need for none. There's not a need for none of this stuff. Most of it. There's not a need for it, but we do it because it's a way to invest in the infrastructure. So basically, like I think it was the third industrial revolution. I don't want to keep talking here, but it's the third industrial revolution was that's when we started having stocks. The reason why stocks really exist is for people to put their money in the business so the businesses can grow and we can produce more stuff faster. But now that we have machines doing that, we have the machines doing the jobs, there's no need for those people to really do that anymore. But we're still operating in the old system, and you still have to make money in the old system, get me wrong, but if they decide to just change the system, it's really a good solution because that's what's coming. They're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. This is where everything's connected. IT, there's robots doing everything now. There's machines doing everything now. AI is doing everything now. There's no need for a lawyer. Why do you need a lawyer? You can type in the algorithm and basically it'll tell you what you need to know about the law. It's right here. All you need is a judge. There's no need for a lawyer anymore. There's only need for like manual labor work, like building a house, but you don't even need that because they have machines doing that now. So it's just very important to know that you don't need these things, but they're here because people don't want to change.
Yeah, I mean, over time, all goods and services will be automated. Like I think that's clear, right? So the question becomes, first of all, does society have a responsibility to provide a minimum lifestyle for everyone in society, right? And then if it does, all right, then what does that look like? Right? Like, is that $2,000 a month? Is that $100 a month? Like, what is the minimum contribution that society gives you in exchange for your compliance with it being more efficient and taking away your job? And then the question is, after that is, okay, cool. So we have this minimum like lifestyle for everybody. What do people get above and beyond that, and to what limit? Right? So let's say I own 5 properties and I'm making $5,000 a month. Right? Do I still receive?
Is Mike messed up?
Headphones died.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. The headphones.
All right, we can hear you now.
The question becomes, do I still receive UBI at that point? And if I don't, then what incentive do I have to continue earning if I know I'm going to lose my $2,000? You know? So, yeah.
Can I touch on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think it goes back to when I was saying about like the housing. Like we should it needs to be like, let's just say, a standard amount of square footage, and you might have the argument of well, this guy's a single man and this guy has a family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just say a family of 4, son, daughter, husband, wife, right?
You can't do it that way.
Right. No.
Why can't you do it that way?
Because then it's an incentive to keep having kids, and you can't support those kids.
Yes. Okay.
No.
Yeah,
So
it is.
let's allocate this amount of land for every adult, right? So whether you have kids or not, you're going to have the sufficient amount of space. So you have a standard of living. You don't live in a closet in New York.
Well, that's the thing is that when you come with UBI, you're coming with all the other stuff.
Yeah,
You're coming.
Man, it
Right.
sounds a lot like social to me.
Right.
bro.
Miguel,
Right.
like, when you're asking, like,
I mean,
Good
it
job.
is. Call it what it is.
Damn
The
right, Jeff.
UBI that's going to be in New York City is going to be different than it would be, say, like in Philadelphia or
Yeah.
Right.
or in the
Right.
country.
Miguel,
But that's where we need to. Maybe we don't need to be state by state. Maybe we need to be because there's plenty of land out there.
Yeah, I
Plenty of
mean, my argument to that is fucking move.
to your question, Miguel,
Yeah,
like what's the incentive? The incentive is that, yeah, if you get, like, say it's a 2,000 UBI, that's all you'll ever make. But
yes,
if you go to try to make more, you can make however much you're able to create in value or start a business. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're happy with that, and there's going to be a lot of people who are like, hey, man, 2,000 is all I need. That's okay.
Right.
You know what Carlos said, when people get money, they make things. In general, the majority of people, when they get money, make two things, and they end up in the toilet or the trash.
Yep.
So, but when people like really have, because there are people who are genuinely motivated to do more. Those
Yeah.
people will always, they'll
Yeah.
give up the 2,000. They'll start building their business. The idea, I think, would be to like have that money cut off as soon as you start making a certain amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're starting to do something. You're not going to need this anymore.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Maybe if it gives you the very basic standards. Maybe like a, you get like a bit one or two meals, and then
Right.
whatever. Like, here's basics. You can survive off of this, but that's what UBI is for. And then
Can you guys?
Yeah.
Can we get to also a point that this will never happen in UBI in America? Can we just?
I
get
don't
to that?
agree. I think it will.
that-
I think it will eventually.
Never,
UBI
never happen. Nope.
Dude,
UBI
it's either this or a revolution.
I think it's going to happen globally.
There's
I think it's
people.
going to be a global thing.
There's people in states like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida that think that $7.25 an hour minimum wage is what you deserve to make money, and they haven't changed it, and they won't change it until the federal government changes it. And then so you think that they're gonna say, oh yeah, everybody in, especially like in cities like Philadelphia or New York City, yeah, you guys get $1,500 a month and all that. There's no way that's gonna happen. There's no way that's gonna ever happen in my lifetime. So
yeah, not the boomers, but
Yes.
they won't.
boomers aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
The generations under, we don't care. We're just trying to live.
Yes.
We're trying to
So
make
see-
it fair for everybody. We got a fresh mind. Like, everybody here is like, all right, let's do this. Put these pieces. The boomers are like, no, this is how it was always spent.
Right.
You only
Yeah.
deserve
They can't-
$3.
The boomers
Back when
benefit.
I was buying houses that cost $300. You need to it don't work that way anymore, sir.
Yeah.
Student loans for
keep it with
$1,500.
Right, exactly.
I used to get
shekels.
nickels for a hot dog.
2 shekels and a goat.
Exactly.
It's like that. I think it was Adam Sandler. Was like, when I was your age, a
Oh
hot
my
dog
God.
used to cost a nickel.
Cost me
Right.
3 seashells. Like, we don't.
I remember I used to go to the movies for 3 cents. Like,
Exactly.
Right?
Yo.
Yo, I still say
Yeah,
some of that
we just
stuff
told
now,
him a funny
man.
story, made him laugh.
Right.
I have some of those statements now. When I look at vending machines, I'm like, I remember when I got a soda for 25 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a guy you're getting
Right.
involved. That's
Exactly. But you're not pushing it on
$2
people
for a
like,
can of Coke.
oh, you're so lucky because back, like, man, sir, your house cost $5,000 back then. All you
Right.
had to do was go to the beach and pick up some seashells, and you buy a whole house.
No,
And
that's the real crime. They're charging more for Doritos and they're putting a half in the bag. That's
That's the tragedy.
50% air. You got to pay for that air. Mosh.
right.
lock them up.
So
Lock 'em up.
okay, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna close with this. Jeff, to your point, right? People in Alabama say that $7-8 is a good minimum wage, right? The third largest economy in the world is the fourth largest economy in the world is the state of California. So the minimum wage in California is $14 an hour. So and that's the fourth largest in the world. That's the United States as a whole, right? China and Germany, and then California. So just for perspective, you have to feed the bottom. Like, there's not a lot going on in Alabama. There's not a lot going. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but there's not. There's not a lot going on in Mississippi. There just isn't. And part of it, I would argue, is because the workers see that they can make more money working somewhere else, so they leave and they go work somewhere else.
Yep. And to your point, guess how many votes Alabama gets in the Senate?
How many?
2.
Yep.
Guess how many votes California gets in the Senate?
2.
2.
Yeah.
So guess what? until you equalize that out, you're always going to have this problem because there's going to be so many states that are going to outweigh the states where everybody's living in.
Now you open Pandora's box, because now we have to reform redistricting. You know what I mean?
That's not going to solve anything. It's going to be with the Senate. That's all I'm just saying. I'm just saying on a bigger level or whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many states that think differently than what we're talking about here that it would blow their mind to tell people that you're going to give them $1,500 a month for doing nothing. It would just freak. So like that's all I'm saying is that there's a heavy weight of people.
They have to do something. They got to do something.
You got to do something. I agree with you guys. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm just saying a lot of people that just be like, no way, 2,000 a month, no way.
Well, yeah. They just need a wake up call because they don't know about robots yet. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't know. I'm telling you right now. Watch. I'm telling you right now. I've been saying it for years, and I can't wait. If this lockdown happens, it's happening. Period. It's happening. Period. It's happening. It's happening. If this lockdown happens, because that's it. Or if we go back in the office and that's it. It's over. It's over. It's like no matter what, it's over. But if we go back into office, boomers are going to pass away. That's number one. And all the big people are done. So just like that, we need to figure out something because all our leadership died. They're worried about leadership. This is what they're worried about. They're worried about leadership. It's never going to go back to normal.
So Miguel, something to think about is just like, remember you talked about like the Jeff's platform. He likes this Clubhouse platform, how it continues. This is it. This is how Cash and Coffee continues, because you're ready to get off and people are still having conversations. So this is just something to think about.
If somebody wants the sticks, I'll give you the sticks.
Pass over the sticks.
All right, Jerome, I'm giving you the sticks.
Running like Clubhouse.
Pass over the sticks.
Clubhouse and coffee.
I see what you said. I gotta go to breakfast though, but yeah, no, that's good, Jerome. That's smart, man.
No, that's not my idea. It's Miguel's, because it's kind of and we're probably not going to be here much longer, but we want to end the conversation and not abruptly. And Miguel was talking about that when we talked last week. If you would know if you were here. So, but he talked about like us moving Cash and Coffee and make it a little more hybrid, modern, fresh, and up to date. And this is a lead in into that, because the conversation is still going. We're still trying to have the conversation, and it can continue for however many minutes. We're like 10 minutes over, and we can continue the conversation. So
cool.
If we leave it up, we have it set up correctly. So
where's everybody's Venmo at, so I can give you money for a quote or something like that? That's what people in Clubhouse go ahead and just hit me up, man, if it's beneficial for you.
Just set up my Cash App. $9.99.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Got my
that's part of the reason that StreamYards appealed to me, because I can do automatic posts with a link to contribute.
All right, guys. Look, I gotta go. I gotta join this real estate algebra class.
Okay.
All right, I'm out too.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Have a
good call.
Later, guys.
Good meetup. It was nice.
Yeah, it was solid.
Randy, don't get anybody pregnant, man.
Right, with your big arms. Randy's like this, walking around on those.
Hey, he's tall and American.
6'4".
Oh my gosh. All right, guys, I'm out.
All right, y'all. put up my cash app.
My cash-
$9.99.
You know what I'm saying? Got my
See,
shit.
that's part of the reason